This episode of an Unexpected Podcast is dedicated to our Gondorian princess, Charlotte Jean, born on International Tolkien Day, the day the ring was destroyed, and the Gondorian New Year. Happy second birthday, Moon Girl.
I wonder what the dear high like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little you.
Hello, friends, and welcome to an Unexpected Podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Randy.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda, and in the North Farthing in Gandalf's pad. That's your place.
Yeah. So is the blue still a go, or is it not a go here? I mean,
well, this is kind of awkward. I wrote this like 2 weeks ago when the timeline was true for this.
Right.
So maybe what we could do is people could literally go back, listen to the first part, hit the 15-second button maybe once or twice,
right,
and then hear this part and pretend that, suspend belief that we actually had this conversation.
Here it is. Here it is.
Is that possible?
Here it is. Yes, let's take...
Because it was such a cool thing that lined up, dude. It was crazy. Okay.
I know it was. Go back 15 seconds. Here we go. This week, friends, I'm back in Amanda. I haven't seen Lane's flesh, or Lane in the flesh, rather, since Thanksgiving. I'm not a mortician, but if my calculations is correct, by the way, it says is correct, that's just about how long it took Thorin's company to reach Laketown. And if that ain't just another, I don't know what that word is, connection.
Kooky.
Is that an appropriate, is that like, my name isn't
That's
Ezra.
a phonetic spelling.
Okay. It's not. It's Paul. I can't even speak now. I warmly welcome you. I was thinking of warm gravy. I don't know what. Something's going on here.
Dude, the name game used to be my favorite thing to write. And just because, or do, I guess. But this has replaced it easily. Like,
they
the
keep
more
getting
ridiculous
longer.
I can make I know.
And I don't know what to,
And you're sworn to read them, and you don't read them before, which is... We need to continue that tradition, my friend.
Yeah.
So when you were at my house a couple weeks ago, we were celebrating Charlotte's birthday. We were doing some work, getting some work done. So much work done that we didn't have time to record like we had planned. We saw each other 3 times, and planned to record in that span of time. We just done work. We just done work instead. But it was crazy, man. At that moment, I had not seen you in person since Thanksgiving, right? And that was the same amount of time as it took Thorin's company to leave the Shire and then arrive where we're arriving this chapter. And I was like, how many times can, life imitate art, or vice versa? Or it's just, or are we looking too hard? Is it the number 23? Are we just looking for it too hard?
It adds up for a reason, folks. We don't make this up. This is not something that we just decide. Lane didn't just wake up in the middle of the night and write this down.
Math. Yeah, no. I do actually. I do, but not very well. I don't teach math very well.
Yeah, you do teach math, don't you?
I do my best.
Math, right?
I do my best. It's harder than you'd think, actually. Second grade math is pretty tough nowadays, man.
Wouldn't want to teach it myself. I'll tell you that right now.
So maybe that's why I'm seeing these numbers everywhere. So I'm trying to grapple with teaching, being a math teacher. I don't know.
2s and 3s.
But 2s and 3s, baby. That's it. Just double it. But we warmly welcome everybody. It is also kind of fitting because we have some very exciting announcements and sort of a warm welcome to anyone who might be listening for the very first time. Uppers, new and old, from universes far and wide. So we'll get into that in a few minutes. But my friend, how are you? How is life? Let's do some quick counsel.
I'm doing wonderful, man. Honestly,
just bump your mic there. Are you okay?
I bumped the mic. I'm also trying to run
sweating?
the cable behind me. Not yet. It's freezing. It is freezing in Ohio.
Someone turned the heat off. We were getting like Florida weather there for a couple days, and dude, I was in my room today, and I tell you, when you lose your hair and shave your head, you don't realize you got to have a toboggan, as you call it.
Yep.
Handy at all times. Like I might as well start carrying one in my back pocket because if the temperature drops, I was in my classroom today with my coat on. At one point, I took my mask off and put it on top of my head, and I was sitting there just blowing my nose because my nose was running.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's freezing. It's freezing out.
Well, I refuse to turn the heat back on. I will not do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I will not.
You better not.
If you're watching the video version here, I'll show you this for folks at home. This is a big reveal here.
Do you have a blanket?
I am covered up in an R2-D2
oh my gosh.
blanket right now because I am freezing. I am literally freezing. So anyway, there's that. And I mean, it's like an ultimate like. The sun has gone down and it is cold. It is cold in here, and all I have is that electric heater, and I'm not turning it on. There ain't no way.
Plus, I also want to say that your choice of lighting is also very cold. You got cold light going on, baby. I mean, I don't know. I think that is subconsciously. I think it's Star Wars, but I think it's also the Fortress of Solitude. I think
it is.
that you haven't even told anyone that.
Yep.
But subconsciously, you're like, I need it to look like just a giant glacier in here. Just a big glacier where I can talk to my father and my home Earth, my home world. Are
Seriously.
you an alien? Are you an alien?
I'm a Kryptonian. I'm straight up Kryptonian.
That's what the K stands for.
So let me tell you what
Kirk.
that's what. Those lights will never actually. Whenever I have a son, I've always wanted his first name to start with a C, so I can call him CK. Clark Kent, CK.
Why don't you just name him Clark? Kirk.
I probably will.
That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah. Okay.
But these lights have never seen green behind me, though. Just so you know, kryptonite. No, it's not welcome here. So I don't do green. But blue. Yeah, blue's my favorite color. So
I thought that was a lightsaber reference at first, like ignite blue, ignite green. So okay.
Oh no, no.
Krypton, though. Yeah. Kryptonium. Kryptonium.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't. I didn't know which one I was saying.
Oh,
I always think of plutonium, which is real, and that's how you get the DeLorean back to the future.
Oh, you're talking about kryptonite? Are you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What'd I say? Kryptonium?
Kryptonium.
Is that a thing? What is that? Is that real?
The people.
That's what I meant. I meant the stuff. Kryptonite.
Oh, that's funny.
God,
kryptonite.
Geez,
I got you. All right. Hey, no. To end this, I'm doing great, and I am happy that we're here. I am actually really excited about some exciting, cool, exciting stuff. Let me squeeze the word exciting in there again. Stuff we have going on. So
are you excitable as well? Are you excitable?
I am. Some would say that.
Could you even say?
Excited.
Oh, come on, dude. You can't set me up like that. I'll be a good boy. I'm actually trying to. I've heard that this stuff makes you smarter. This water I got here.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see if that works.
Yeah.
I've been a little foggy lately. So I figure smart water make me a little smarter. We'll see.
I highly doubt it, my friend. I think
okay. Cool. That's cool. Because when I drink a monster, I turn into a monster. So what are you saying about me now?
Well, no, what I'm saying is you don't need it. I'm trying to build you up here.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, dude.
How are you, man? What's going on?
Buddy, I'm doing great. I'm also very excitable or excited, or I'm full of anticipation, I guess is another way to put it. Sure. I'm anticipatory. Sometimes I think Tolkien would just really want to kill us because he loved the invention of words. But I think sometimes, I think what we do is we misuse them sometimes. And I think that would be the part. That would be the part where he'd be like, I just want to kind of go through those mics and teach these young fellas a thing or two.
Yeah.
But I've been doing wonderful. As we mentioned earlier, Charlotte just had her second birthday. Can't believe she's 2. That means Winnie is like darn near 3.5. Ruth is almost 1. I know that we mentioned this previously, but crotch fruit number 4 is on the way.
Yeah.
Actually due in mid-September.
Yes. So,
if we're on this trajectory of babies having like really significant Tolkien dates, which they all do, I mean, if we can schedule that delivery for 9/22, I'm not gonna be opposed to that. Now I don't know, Sarah might have something to say about that, but
right, she might, yeah.
I mean,
but Sarah, come on now, help us out here.
Come on, Sarah. I mean, but no, life's great. School, I'm ready for it to be summertime. Ready to be done with school. That's a very depressing. Just teaching online has been very depressing lately, but I can't tell you the joy I have just being with my girls, watching them grow up. Getting to be outside has been really nice, especially with this nicer weather. I know we joked about it being colder, but it's been much nicer compared to like freezing cold and snow all the time like we had this winter. So we've been outside, we've been in the yard. You know, man, I tell you, dude, Amanda is so beautiful. Amanda, it really is. When I tell people that the one place I would choose to live if I could live anywhere in the world is where I live right now. I know they think I'm being sarcastic or joking or really stupid, but I'm not. Like, no. If you said we'll give you a spot in New Zealand, anywhere you want, you pick it, it's yours. You can have a job, you'll live a comfortable life anywhere in New Zealand you want. I'd be like, tempting, very tempting, but I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. Like this little corner of the Shire for me is perfection. Like we go out in the yard. The other day there was a turkey vulture that came soaring over the yard. The girls look up, they're staring at it. Winnie was helping me. We got new compost bins, and she was like helping me roll the thing. Our yard's beautiful. They run around the yard. They play out in their sand. We got them like a playhouse thing that is brand new, and they're like loving it, ringing the doorbell, and it's just awesome to go out there and just watch them grow up before my very eyes. And it's humbling, and when that's happening, like you don't need anything else, man. You don't need anything else. And so because of that, life is very rich for me. I do have a Winnie quote I wanted to share. She said this coming in from Plan Outside. She wanted to help me get the podcasting stuff set up, and she wanted to do a little recording with Charlotte. And that singing you heard at the beginning of the episode was them singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But when he walks in, she goes, "There's always time for podcasting." I mean, and I was just like, out of the mouths of babes comes the truth, you know? Yeah. But they're so... My dad said it today. He said it perfectly. I'm going to stop rambling. I could talk about them forever, though. I could literally talk about them forever.
And you should. Yeah.
He says, how did you two make three such beautiful and different human beings? He said, I wonder what this fourth is going to be like. And that's the best way to... They are all so different and all so beautiful. And like connecting with each of them in different moments... It can feel tiring. It can feel at times, but way more often than not, it is so rejuvenating because it is each connection with each of them is so unique, man. I can't wait for you to be a dad. You're gonna be the best dad, and I can't wait to talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, because you know it from the son side. I also remember it from being a kid myself. But you are gonna be just a remarkable father. So,
well, you know,
it's an exciting thing, man. It's an exciting thing. I got to talk to my buddy Rob Thorson, who, if you own a podcast T-shirt that we've done, you've seen his handiwork, and he's a new dad. Well, not new dad of a year. His daughter just turned a year old, so shout out to her. But we were talking about the joys of fatherhood, and just how wonderful it is. It really is, man. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you right now, my dad always says this of you guys. He loves checking in on you, and the birthday party I went to there, it was good just to see the kids running around, and your sister was out. It was that was a nice day. The story I posted on Instagram was the party tree. I'm sitting under the party tree just laying there, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I just had such a good time. And I also had a good time for another really special reason too. But
yes, you did.
Good things.
And you got a little sick eating my ribs too.
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
I had to tell your parents that I am sorry. I had to literally go down to the store to get some pink
Pepto
drink. Yeah,
get that pink drink. Wow. I have been anticipating like making smoked meats for you. Right? It was Dave Fogel who turned me onto the idea. Shout out to Dave of getting a smoker.
Yep.
And got one last fall and went crazy. Smoked like 6 or 7 different sessions of meats. And I was like, I can't wait to do this for Ez. Because I'm going to make him some keto ribs. It's going to be awesome. And it never worked out that you were there when I was smoking stuff. And I was like, this is great. Smoke some stuff for Charlotte's birthday. Ez will be here. get him to eat some stuff, and we couldn't figure out, was it because you ate too much or you drank too much before?
I don't know.
It did not sit well, and I'm sitting there going, of course, this is how it happened. I finally get him down here. I make him some smoked ribs, and he's nauseous. He probably puked him up and just didn't want to tell me. I made him sick with my meats, so
Wow. And here I am revealing. Here I am revealing on the podcast that I drove 2 miles away from the house to puke those up. No, I'm just kidding. I actually did not. I ate so many. It was crazy. They were so delicious. It was like eating candy, and I was just like, I couldn't stop myself. And then I was like, maybe I had a bit too much to drink. Plus, I was working in the you know where, and it was just crazy. So I mean, it was wild. Good times.
That's what good times do to you. They make you a little wild, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're good, brother. That was a good catch up. It was so nice seeing you a couple weeks ago in person and just getting to just be around you. And I love when we work late into the night because there's always this like seesaw that happens where either I get really tired and you get kind of goofy or vice versa. And it's just,
we saw all of it that night. Both sides.
And it's funny how it like even entertains me. It's like I don't know. It entertains me just being with us, if that makes any sense. Being with you, I should say. I'm one person. Yes. So we do want to take a second real quick to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Danette May and Mindful Health LLC, featuring Danette May's top superfood product from her Earth Echo food lines, Cacao Bliss. Nothing feels better than being able to enjoy rich, smooth, creamy chocolate and knowing you are doing something good for your body. Danette starts with 100% organic cacao beans that are naturally kissed by the sun, maintaining its miraculous health benefits. Then they blend it with turmeric, MCT oil, coconut, Himalayan sea salt, cinnamon, and black pepper for the perfect blend to make you feel the best you ever have. The result? Fall in love with a truly decadent, healthy, guilt-free chocolate, removing your cravings, facilitating weight loss, boosting your energy, and reducing your inflammation with one simple drink. Not only that, as this is why I knew you would love this product, all right? It's friendly for paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegan, and vegetarian diets. So whether you're Ezra or Baron, it's on the menu. For the last 8 years, they've been a leader in the superfoods market and are proud to have served millions of customers worldwide. Now, here's the awesome part, okay? When you use a special code we're about to give you, you get 15% off of the offering, all right? Go to earthechofoods.com/Minute Media. Use the promo code MINUTE, and you'll get 15% off of your purchase. And go ahead and check out and follow Danette and Earth Echo Foods at the Danette May, M-A-Y, May, and at Earth Echo Foods. So you just heard go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Well, the keto thing is cool. We mentioned my favorite color. Go look this up. This all blue. Look at this packaging on this stuff, man.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
So I'm locked in just because it looks beautiful. So, no, it's cool. It's actually really, really interesting. I just went and kind of did a little digging around on their website, and
getting into dropping some Eves. That's a pretty big Eves. We're about to drop. You're gonna be hearing some advertisements in episodes coming up because we have made an awesome. I don't even know how to announce this. As you might, I'm a little too scatterbrained to even do this. But it's pretty cool what's happened. We were contacted by a couple individuals, and an Unexpected Podcast is now a member of the fan-sided Minute Media podcasting group. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? You want to talk about this process?
It's really sick. So Patrick hit us up, and we talked to him, and can't say thanks to him enough. It's really just cool to kind of get in here and see what they're doing, and we're brand new to it, just working our way through. But we're excited for the potential that this is going to bring in. And we wanted to mention at this time, like, you probably are going to notice a few changes, a few alterations that I actually think people are going to be like, wow, why didn't Lane and Ez do this before? Well, you know what? I mean, sometimes a couple hobbits need a little bit of encouragement to get out of the Shire. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened. we got some really cool stuff with the structure of the show, and then some cool ads, and then this network is pretty neat to just get in here and learn from people who have been doing this and who know other folks who are into podcasting, who are into content creation and things like that. So we're really excited.
Yeah, it was cool. We got contacted by Patrick Allen, who is a I don't even know what's his official title. He's okay. I'm just gonna say this. He's a big wig. Okay, he's a
VP.
big wig for VP for Fansided. Many of you know Fansided. The cool thing about Fansided, some people listening right now are probably hearing this on Winter is Coming, which is obviously a Game of Thrones fan-sided website, but also all things fantasy related. I think that we even read an article talking about show news way back that I had found on Fansided or on Winter is Coming. Right. So anyway, this is a brand new thing that they're starting. They are reaching out to different podcasts that they find both interesting and feel like they would fit the fan-sided community. The thing that from meeting with Patrick, who's amazing, and Carrie, who is unreal, that stuck with me the most is that they told us that as long as we're with them at Minute Media and Fansided, that we will be the only Lord of the Rings podcast, that we are their one and only Lord of the Rings podcast, and that they reached out to us. That just like when all of you contact us and you say, guys, I know you don't know it, but you mean a lot to me. And that means a lot to us because it really is motivation for when it's, 12:30 at night, 11 at night, whatever it is, right. 1 in the morning when we're recording, we think about that. We think about how important, our adventures together are, and that what we're doing is not always easy. It's not always easy.
No, yeah.
But that's never things that are difficult, things that you have to discipline yourself to do are always worth it, right? Whether people, find certain things you do disagreeable, or whether people love everything you do. You have both kinds, right?
That's
you have
right.
people
That's
who,
right.
and you have some people who are kind of in the middle. Sometimes they enjoy Ez and Lane. Sometimes they think we're a little ridiculous. They always skip this section, but they always listen to this segment. And that's all good. That's all great. Yep. So anyway, that for me was huge. That made me feel like a certain validation. It made me feel like a definite or affirmation of our worth and what you and I do together on a regular basis. And then also just hearing his perspective as an artist. He also podcasts. He's like a classically trained actor. Huge Chiefs fan, but also from Ohio, which is crazy.
Right? Wild.
I know. And it came out of the blue, and it just made so much sense. And the beautiful thing was that he told both of us was, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Nothing is really going to change. But he said the cool thing is this has endless possibilities. And when Ez and I sit here and we think about that, we're like, wow, there's a show coming out.
That's right.
There's a show coming out. We have lots of adventures still to have in Middle-earth. What would a company like Fansided and Minute Media be able to facilitate between us and possibly people involved with the show? And by that, not because I would sweat through my shirt and probably not enjoy the process itself, but who would benefit from that is all of you. Yeah. All of you. It would be fun for us, yes, of course. But like being able to bring things that to you that are exclusive to you as uppers has always been something that we've tried to do, whether it's reaching out to Tammy Lane and getting to hear all her stories, or talking to the master Shane Runge himself and getting to hear his tales from behind the production of Lord of the Rings, or watching Tolkien as a group and doing like fun offbeat episodes that have nothing to do with a chapter or anything, or any of that stuff. So anyway, it got me really excited for that. So I feel like it's only going to grow this community of uppers, right? It's only going to give you and I even bigger goals, and I don't know, it's just going to help in a lot of different ways.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yes, it is,
and
man.
It's an exciting thing. I feel like almost like we were getting a new zeal a couple months ago, and I feel like that has just been. It does feel like like even a validation or a confirmation that was a correct choice. That because you and I, we were like, what do we do? What's the path forward, man? What's the path forward? And this to me has it's amazing. I think I even told Patrick and Carrie this. I was like, you never know like what your kind words are going to do for someone else. And we've heard many of you say that to us. Yeah. That you were going through dark times, and unbeknownst to us, two goofy little hobbits talking Lord of the Rings and talking about sniffing the night breeze and talking about lower back ponytails.
That's right.
Got you through a tough time. And as inconceivable as that is for us, especially in the moment, it's empowering. It's so empowering. It helps us remember that, yes, this is important, not just for you and me, but for people who listen to it too. So,
yeah, guys, I'll tell you right now, it's amazing how like conversations that Lane and I had a couple months ago, where we were at and what has happened. It's things that I guess that's all I really can say, because it's just, wow. Sometimes you come right to the edge, and you know what I mean? Like, I mean, literally some crazy stuff. And you guys heard the episode. We talked about people we cannot thank you enough. Kind words really do go a long way, and we're not perfect. And no one is, but we want to spread positivity and kindness and happiness into the world. That's what we're trying to push out there. You guys send it back. We appreciate it. This partnership basically allows us to do more of that, and it allows us to kind of the benefits. Probably next episode, I think we'll talk maybe more about the benefits as to what are going to be coming down the line. Changes to Patreon, to the format of the show, and various things that it's going to open up. So I really am excited for it. And thanks again to Patrick and everyone over there at Fansided and Minute Media. And you can follow his podcast, by the way. It's at Arrowhead Addict, which I listened to the other day, and it's pretty. It's good, pretty radical. I just these are almost makes you want to be passionate sports fans. That's for sure.
Yes, and it did make me. I told him what I say. I was like, I made the mistake of looking you up, and I got a little scared.
Yeah,
and not just because you're a Chiefs fan, right? It was like, as a Browns fan, you fear the Chiefs, but Anyway, just to kind of explain that is a change that's happening. You might see other subtle changes or like fan-sided branding that pops up, but we just want to let you know that other than the use of ads to help monetize the podcast, and maybe a reformatting of how often we're going to try and figure out a way to get you the podcast more often, like maybe even splitting episodes up into 1 and 2 parts, so that you can have a weekly source of the podcast. So, but other than that, nothing's going to change, as
no.
Right?
No, it's really it's
not.
Are
we praising the Lord? What's going on here?
We're praising the Lord. I'm also raising my hand. But,
okay, all right.
But one thing that Patrick assured, he was like, "Hey guys, do your thing. We're going to try to help amplify what you are doing and bring you in because you kind of fit our vibe," and that was pretty cool. So yeah, no major changes in any way, shape, or form. All benefits and all things that are really good. And by the way, people have been asking Lane, are you guys going to do the Silmarillion? Let me tell you, let me make this very, very clear. We may be getting towards the Arkan Stone here, all right? We may be building up towards that, but there are other stones. There are other precious stones.
Boy, the stone's on you, mentioning that. The stone's on you, bro.
So just get ready. I'm pumped. I am pumped. And so people have been asking, like, I can't wait. We can't wait either, and we've got quite a ways to go, so we're having a good time. Yeah,
actually, yes. Huge shout out to Lee Adamson, who messaged us on Instagram. He said, petitioning you fellas to do the Silmarillion after The Hobbit, trying to listen to some other podcasts, he said, but they're borderline painful. So, Lee,
that happens. We are also, sometimes we can be painful.
I was just going to say, Lee, we're going to make it more painful, okay? But you know what pain is? Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Come on,
George Washington. I don't think George Washington said that.
Michael Jordan.
Lots of Michael Jordan. LeBron James. By the way, huge shout out to Space Jam: A New Legacy. Gandalf.
Unreal.
Gandalf is making LeBron's squad. I mean, just it's you never know who's a Lord of the Rings fan, guys. And yeah, I know it's WB property, but whatever. Just the fact that LeBron was writing Gandalf was just too much for me. It was so cool. So yeah, lots of awesome things going on. Yes, all that to say, in summation though, thank you for your continued support. Thank you, most of all, thank you for participating in the community. And then also for finding your own communities within this group. Like, that's the one really cool thing about the Facebook group is it allows people to find kindred spirits. You know,
Yes.
That's another great thing about Instagram. People find kindred spirits. Social media is great for being able to find people who are like-minded, who have similar interests. And even within groups, you have subgroups that form, and people grow these friendships, just like within the Fellowship, right? You had Legolas and Gimli. You had Aragorn and Legolas. You had Aragorn and Gandalf. You had Sam and Frodo. You had Merry and Pippin. There are certain people who, you know, unlike you and I, that are attracted to one another and then just become the deepest of friends.
Right.
Wait, or I meant like us, right? Are we friends?
All right.
Are we
Is that
keeping
still
up
a
this
debate?
ruse? But yes. Anyway, but because of your support, that's you know, a huge part of why this is even happening anyway. So the honor is ours, but it is also yours, and we are honored by all of you. So thank you so much. Wow, there's a lot to talk about, Ez. A lot. I can't, you know. Again, the universe just kicking me in the butt, making me eat my words, especially with this show stuff.
Come on now.
Especially with this show stuff.
I like it.
Nothing's happening. Nothing to talk about. Well, here's International Tolkien Reading Day, you jerk.
Right.
Eat this. So the couple of big things happened, actually. I believe it was before that. That one of the main actors from that first crop of acting announcements. I should preface this that we are into Droppin' Eves. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. We're into Droppin' Eves. We're going to talk about the show for a second, all right? So one of the main actors from that first crop of acting announcements, Tom Budge. Let me make sure I got that right, because we have definitely used incorrect names in the past of these actors, and I want to give them the credit they deserve. So Tom Budge, yes, was one of the very first actors who was announced for the Lord of the Rings Amazon show. Okay,
Right.
I'm just going to read this post. He made this post on March 14th, so prior to Loader on Prime's dropping of a location and a clapperboard. All right, clapperboard. So this is about a week before, 10 days before. He says, "Hello, loves. It is with great sadness that I am writing to tell you I have departed Amazon's Lord of the Rings television series. After recently seeing the first episodes shot over the last year, Amazon has decided to go in another direction with the character I was portraying. I must thank the creative team for their encouragement towards trying something that I believed was new, exciting, and beautiful. And I sincerely thank the extraordinary cast and crew for their love, support, and friendship over what has been a very difficult and unusual experience. Alas, some things just cannot be. Destiny, my mother, I thank thee. Kisses, Tom." You got Maxim Baldry, who is a current cast member, a pretty big name as well, commenting with a little heart. So his former castmates commenting on there, and sharing their support as well, but a lot to digest there. Okay, what Tom does is he reveals some things. First of all, very sad that this didn't work out for him as an actor.
Sure.
We know what being involved with these giant well, we don't know, but we know of what being involved in these big projects can mean to actors and actresses. It can blow up their careers. It can take what a name that might be, known to only a few and multiply it to a global household. Like, no one knew who Viggo Mortensen was before Lord of the Rings. Everyone knows who Viggo Mortensen is. Elijah Wood was a child actor. Now, it did that for everyone. It made Orlando Bloom's career, or not made it, but made it maybe something it wasn't going to be before.
Sure,
so
amplified it.
Changed the trajectory of a career. So very sad that didn't work out for him. I do love that he posted with this. The visual aspect was Johnny Cash I think singing Ring of Fire, which is also very, very fitting. Yeah, Wildfire. Yeah, Ring of Fire. What am I saying? Oh my gosh. So one of the interesting things that he reveals here is that first episodes shot over the last year.
Yeah.
So as late as
first episodes,
but
Okay.
first episodes. So 2, 3, 4, maybe at the most. And Amazon producers, high up executives seeing this, I'm guessing end of February, beginning of March to make a decision like this.
Yeah.
Maybe late January, okay? Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That will also help us kind of figure out when exactly this is going to be, like at what time this will be released. It's probably going to be a while if they're just now seeing some of these first episodes. And what we read later, that they're going in a different direction with his character. Are they going to recast his character and then reshoot portions? Are they going to cut his character? I'm not sure how you could do that, especially if he was a character that they were trying something that he believed was new, exciting, and beautiful, and taking it seemed like taking some sort of risk with a character, right? Is
Right.
The vibe I got, that this was something that was a bit of a gamble, and they watched the result and thought, it didn't really work out the way we wanted. So does that mean someone else is cast? That character is reimagined? Does that mean that character is cut? This is just, to me, this is like fascinating. This is, again, we're blowing things up, getting into the details, but that's just what I think.
Sure.
And then just and this might just be hindsight, all right? This might be hindsight. And I want to guard against, this is something that Patrick said he had heard as well, the kitchen, right? The noise in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You and I, we're just the kids' table, all right? Just at the kids' table. We might have gotten moved a table closer to the kitchen, now at this fan-sided table, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But we're still on the outside. We're not by the kitchen, okay? Noise in the kitchen, I want to guard against that. Because when you make a cake, and when you make a cake that you described, a beautiful cake, it's messy, man. It's lots of noise. It's lots of dirty plates. Sometimes tools, instruments, spatulas get dropped. It's loud.
That's right. Yeah.
Might mistake it for a broken glass or plate. You might mistake it for a dropped cake batter, but it's not necessarily what it is. But him saying that it's been a very difficult and unusual experience. Now, I'm sure that is more of a result of where he is now, right? Of his character now. I'm sure if his character works out, he's not saying that it's necessarily a difficult and unusual experience, but it makes you wonder, like, what has this experience been like for these actors, for these actresses, for the creative process? Then it makes you wonder, like, did Tom Shippey really leave? Why would he have left? All these questions. I started asking all these questions. I'm like, what does this reveal about other things that we may have heard? So that's all I have. I think it's fascinating. I feel really bad for Tom. It makes me wonder all kinds of things. When are we going to get this show finally? What does this mean for the story? What were they trying? Like, what were they trying with this character? Who was the character? How does it affect other characters that aren't going anywhere? Other actors and actresses that aren't going anywhere, So,
yeah, is he a character who was cut it's just interesting, and again, this is tough because it's not something you want to speculate on, right? You don't want to speculate on somebody somebody's getting cut,
career getting changed. No,
that's not it. But it is a bit of news.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, though, I mean, we look back on like you said, Lord of the Rings, and we look at some of the people who were probably would have been decent, or you can't even really tell. It's hard to kind of even play the real life what if game if someone else was cast as Aragorn or Frodo or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a mind-boggling thing to think about. So maybe it's just a recasting. Maybe the character was just cut, and that's what's more intriguing to me is that there's probably a character. And I doubt that it's like a recast. I bet it's something to where now this doesn't seemingly fit in here. And we're gonna kind of leave that out. So,
which is so interesting to me. Yeah, because that implies like a lot of story change.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not a lot, but enough that someone is leaving who was probably going to be there for a while. Like that first crop. I mean, Morfydd Clark is in that. Well, she might not be in that first crop, but a lot of the ones that we see and we follow were that first group of actors and actresses announced. So you would imagine that they had maybe possibly larger roles, or at least larger roles within that first season. So
Sure.
Man, it is very interesting. Yeah,
and the time.
I didn't want to sound like a hyena either. I was just because I feel so bad for him, but it is so enlightening because when we see things from the actors and actresses involved in the show, it's all very like cryptic. There's
a lot of secrecy around this stuff.
And they have done an incredible job of keeping everything tight-lipped, and and the actresses and actors have done an awesome job of not posting certain things or not revealing certain things. And I even learned that, on that video way back that we did about Ismael Cruz Cordova, that picture that we thought was him in a black wig in New Zealand is not from that. It's from another film that he did or television series he did years ago.
Really?
So it was almost kind of like, I don't think he even meant it as bait. But if you're people like us, you're like, oh my gosh, is he in? He's in a trailer. It's a black wig. He in Numenorian. So it's not even from that. So they have done an amazing job of not only just, keeping things mysterious, but maybe even like posting stuff every once in a while where you're like, is that New Zealand? Where are they? What's going on? Like, are they together? Are those two at the same spot? Like, what's going on? Like, they're almost playing a cat and mouse game with people who are trying to figure out what's going on. So,
and I like it.
I do too. It's fun. It's great. It's so mysterious. It couldn't be any other way. That leads us. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what other? Because there's. I did just do a little Google search here. Did you see this about 7 hours? Go ahead and do your next. Let me know when there's a good point.
No,
to
you
jump
tell me.
in here
What's going on?
Well, because you just mentioned the timing of this. They're looking at the episodes.
Yeah.
Some of this is just now coming out. I guess, and this is from Variety, multiple places, about 6 to 7 hours ago, these articles dropped. So this is really interesting.
This is great. This has never happened.
Yeah, right? Normally it's like the day after we record. So Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings TV series is reported to cost approximately $465 million to produce one season. One season. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I mean, like it's so this was big news coming from.
That's half of the original, like purchase.
Yeah, this is insane. So this is
oh my gosh.
Stuart Nash, I guess the Minister of Economic Development and Tourism, told Radio New Zealand, quote, "This is fantastic. It really is. What I can tell you is that Amazon is going to spend about $650 million in season one alone." So that was a big number that was thrown out there. Yeah, it was $650 million, and then it looks like where it kind of broke down is around that four. Still, regardless, an insane amount of money here on season one. So
season one.
What I'm hearing is when you got that much money wrapped up in something, we're not letting anything leak, because here's the thing. You want the internet to boom. You want the water cooler conversations at work to go haywire.
Nuts.
And you don't want to reveal your hand on something, whatever it might be. So I am all for them keeping this top secret. You're going to put this kind of money in. Less is more. I'm fine just to be sitting here, play some music, read through the books, get amplified, ready to go, and let's see the show. So
I think it's great. And I think honestly what's been working in their favor is that you can't get to New Zealand right now.
Right? Yeah.
You can't ship stuff there. You can't fly there. The whole pandemic has been, I don't know how to say this, advantageous. Like, it's been a good thing in terms of secrecy for filming
for
this.
For that
like,
little
because
I'll
say this about Kiwis. They're so down to earth, and I mean this only in a compliment. Jimmy, who I'm about to read his response, will know exactly what I mean. They don't care. Like they don't care. I remember freaking out about stuff, Lord of the Rings locations, or like when you would find anyone who would be like, oh yeah, my cousin or my second uncle or whatever worked on the movie, or yeah, I'm Peter Jackson's neighbor or whatever. it was not a big deal. It's the short poppy mentality. It's like, whatever. We're people. Like we're human beings. Very, very grounded, very centered that way, in a way that like we tend to in America not be. It's, oh my gosh, you're famous. Like it's all that we hype people up.
Talking to me?
Oh, I am talking to you, young man. But it's like, we go hyperbolic when they're way more just straight across and level. So those are the people that would be able to post things or say things and freak out about things, and they're not inclined to do such. Like they respect privacy, they respect what this is going to do for New Zealand as well. I'm sure in terms of like an economic impact. More, it's gonna like the tourism there is already nuts, but after these shows are released, it's gonna blow up, and it'll be brand new locations. Sure. Instead of maybe going down and spending a lot of time on the South Island, you'll be more on the North Island. Maybe you'll be around Auckland more. Maybe Auckland will see more of a boom, even though it's their biggest city. So all that being said, like the current circumstance of their isolation has really helped to just keep the lid on the cookie jar, and no one can even smell them. Don't forget the sniffing, but no one can even sniff the chocolate chips. Like that's what's going on. So this is funny that we're talking about this, all right? So that's a huge budget for one series, like one season, I should say. I'm using British terminology. But one season, $4.5 million.
Yeah,
$4.5 million to $6.5 million. That's insane. So my buddy James, James, my rugby friend, my first friend in Lancaster, he texted me recently and was like, "Hey Lane," he sent me a TikTok, and I don't have TikTok on my phone. I said, "Dude, I can't see that. This is your buddy Lane. It's not your grandpa." So he was like, I said, "Tell me what it is." He's like, "Oh man, it's this TikTok about just a quick video reel on." You said, "Do you know anything about this Amazon Lord of the Rings show? You know about this going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, James, I know about it." I said, I actually just went off on an episode talking about how I'm over talking about it because nothing new is happening and it's sort of at a standstill and it's super secret. So I'm just kind of like fed up thinking about it. I was like, what does it say? So he said a lot of stuff that I had heard before. Peter Jackson's involvement as a consultative producer, being filmed in New Zealand, all these different things. But he did say a couple, the budget, of course. He did say a couple things that I hadn't heard previously. I think we talked about this when you were down, but it'll be interesting to talk about here. He said that in that same, so laced within those grains of truth, or at least what we know to be true that's been reported, Peter Jackson's involvement, being filmed in New Zealand, around the Auckland area, budget, Amazon, blah. What he said was in there, they said 5 seasons, 10 episodes apiece, which lined up. Remember long ago there was this report that someone had put out there that said, hey, they're going to be 22 to 25 episode seasons. And we were like, that is like sitcom stuff. Mm-hmm. That's like half an hour episodes of your favorite, whatever you want to, The Office or Seinfeld, whatever. That's what they did. We were like, that seems like a lot for a Lord of the Rings show, especially if you're doing multiple seasons. So we said, when we came down to it, we're like, what do you think? And we came in the area between 8 and 12, we figured.
Sure.
10.
Yeah.
10. So if this is true, 5 seasons of 10 episodes apiece, that could potentially be 50 hours in Middle-earth. The really interesting thing that it went on to say, this TikTok thread, yes, I'm quoting TikTok from a link my friend sent me.
Let's go.
That they're shooting all of the seasons at once to ensure no cancellation.
Shut your mouth. Wait a second. I don't remember you telling me this. Wait a second.
They're shooting all seasons at this, like all the way straight through to ensure cancellation. So I'm gonna call your timeout in a minute. I got to shoot my free throw first.
Go ahead.
My question is, what are they afraid of being canceled for? Like, are they trying? That's what my mind's like. Well, why? Why? Is it because it's so good that you just don't want to lose the momentum, or is it because you're going to try something nuts that maybe some Lord of the Rings fans are not going to like, and you're afraid that they'd stop watching and the show would get canceled before you're done telling your story?
Hey, get me a bath, a brew, and a conspiracy too.
Conspiracy too.
All right, because I'm telling you right now, if we don't have intimacy coordinator up in here, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if we don't have one of those. I've got one guy for you. His name's Lane Smith. He's been living in Amanda, Ohio. This man knows intimacy. Let me tell you.
My resume speaks for itself.
Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by.
Did you?
Yeah.
But I remember you emailed the woman who is in charge of the intimacy coordination.
Yeah.
Did she ever get back to you and let you know, like, give you tips or anything? Or
no, nothing. No,
That's
didn't.
sad.
That is sad, right?
Bummer.
She saw the sender was, and she said, "Not a chance. This guy, not even I can help him. Not even I can help him.
Can't help him.
Go hang out with Radagast.
What's the budget? Is it 600 million? I can't do anything.
Can't do a thing for this.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But no,
That's
okay.
hilarious.
So what is it that they're doing? I mean,
I don't know.
possibly. Actually, what I was thinking is, I actually thought of the whole Peter Jackson, situation where you do something kind of unique. Like, why is this so under the wraps? What is it that they're trying to do that's so unique and interesting? And I kind of thought maybe with the whole 2 seasons thing, it seemed like they were they had done the first couple episodes, and that they had filmed quite a bit. There's different people saying this is, now I'm done with Middle Earth. They're leaving, and they're just building all of these episodes. That would be a wild endeavor. I mean, that would just be that's more than anything. Wouldn't that be the number of hours we're talking? That's more than, because you think about all the extra stuff you have to film because you cut stuff down, right? I mean, you cut an episode down, so the amount of hours on that would be absolutely insane. If they're doing
insane,
that's insane. So
and maybe too, what that article might be inflating is that they would. I mean, I guess I don't know, because the bulk of the trilogy was all filmed at once. They did pickups in between the release of each film. So they started filming in 1999 for The Lord of the Rings. They filmed all 3 films, obviously non chronologically, and then after the Fellowship was edited and cut and released, and they started to work on the 2 Towers, then they called the actors back and they filmed some pickups, additional scenes, even just certain shots they needed to add that they discovered they needed when they were in editing. And then they did the same before Return of the King in 2003. So they did shoot them all at once and then did some additional stuff later on.
Right.
But not that much later on. So maybe what this article or this TikTok thing is maybe trying to inflate is that they are going to continue to film. Now, but that doesn't. Everyone does that. I was going to say continue to film after they've released the first season, but that's what all shows do. I don't know. I found it very interesting. There's that term to make cancellation impossible was the implication that 5. Sure. Well, you're going to get 5 seasons because guess what? They're already done.
They're already done.
Whether you like them or not, we're going to release them one at a time, but we're finished. And yeah, you're right. At this rate, we wouldn't, if you're going to wait until they're all done, we wouldn't get season 1 until 2033. We're going to be old men. It's going to take forever. It would take forever.
Yeah.
They've been shooting for a year. Because remember, they got shut down over a year. They got shut down this time last year because of the pandemic. They had begun filming. They got shut down, had a little bit of break, picked up last August, filmed through the fall, filming into this spring. And they're just done with the first few episodes of season 1, and we're just now getting the finalized budget for season 1. So maybe I call bullcrap on that. Maybe I call Radagast. I shouldn't have said that.
How dare you?
Maybe I call Saruman.
That's fine. It's fine.
I call Wormtongue on this one.
I
think that maybe that's not true. But here is something that is not speculative and is true. So what I've been building up to is an exciting, and by this time everyone has seen it, unless your head is buried in the sand on this beach, in which case when you stood up you would have seen this as well. But on International Tolkien Reading Day, my little Charlotte's birthday, March 25th, which actually in America is the 24th because New Zealand's ahead of us,
Right.
They're in the future. There was a photograph released on Loderon Prime's Instagram account, which had been, I think, pretty quiet since that second round of actors announced. Actors and actresses that was that second wave that was announced that also is very exciting that we need to talk about at some point. But a picture of a clapperboard with a director's name, with a director of photography's name, obviously numbers, frame rates, all that stuff, and a title crossed out, blacked out, on a beach, all in black and white. Caption reads, "From all of us on set here in New Zealand, on set, filming." Implications there, okay? Wishing you a happy Tolkien reading day. All right? So, we had just talked to Jimmy, right? We had just talked to Jimmy. I'm gonna read an email that he responded to us because I sent him this picture. Jimmy from New Zealand, you'll remember last episode, 2 episodes or whatever, he emailed us after running into Joseph Mall.
Right. Yeah.
Right in his hometown. Right. So the one of the first things I freaked out about, and I sent you messages. I zoomed in. I turned the exposure all the way up, and I tried to see if you could read any more of that title. If you look in that second picture, there's definitely like some letters that you can see. There's like the last word starts with a P. Maybe ends with an S. The beginning, it's like an L or an I because it's that Lord of the Rings font. It's that ring bearer font.
Yes.
So I went nuts trying to figure out what it is. I'm sure a lot of people are. The other thing I thought about too is, are they cheeky enough to black out a title ruse? We know most, if not all, high-profile projects have a fake title, which is known as a title ruse. What was it? Episode 9 was Trixie. Dom Monaghan in his stories is always wearing a Trixie hat because Trixie has an IX in the middle, which is 9.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was their working title. Title ruse. So it could be a title ruse, but I'm such a dork, dude, that not a dork. I'm a stupid guy. I'm not a dork because I don't have the knowledge. I went into list of Tolkien words that started with P.
Oh, perfect.
And I was like, how many, is the last word a name that starts with P? And I found Pendelot, Pendelot, who was a gnome lord of Gondolin, according to the early version of the legendarium in the Book of Lost Tales. Then there's Pengolod, who was a lore master of the Noldir in Gondolin. I know that's first age stuff, but they're lore masters.
Hold on.
Could they be telling a tale?
Hold on now.
Things to come, or did they survive Gondolin and they're now in this? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So anyway, lots of speculation on the name. If you again, we don't check social media that much anymore, but email us, let us know what you think. Do you have any speculations on what the name of is it a title ruse? What do you think? But the really cool thing too is we hadn't really known any other directors other than J.A. Bayona, who we're very excited about. We learned that he stayed on as a producer and is getting involved with story arcs and creations and timelines and just a broader involvement in the project because he blew everyone's minds. So we have a new actor here, Wayne Yip. Okay? Wayne Che Yip, who I know nothing about, but it's a whole new person that we know is directing these episodes, taking us into Middle-earth, and we can go find out more about their directorial or his directorial vision. And also cool seeing a director of photography as well, Aaron Morton.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent this to Jimmy because I saw it and I was like, boom, that's the West Coast. We had just got done talking about that, right? Piha, past the Waitaks, the west coast of Auckland, right there, outside the city. Crazy beaches, rocky cliffs, just beautiful. And actually, Sarah had reminded me of a hike we went on that was probably pretty close to this. And dude, I have some pictures I could show you of just sheer cliffs going straight down. And we were just hiking on the edge of these sheer cliffs. But then there's palm trees and there's all these different lush green. And I'm guessing Numenor? Like, is the West Coast, like you said, like
Yeah.
you're the one who said this last episode. Is the West Coast of Auckland gonna be Numenor? Okay. So I sent this to him because I'm thinking I commented for us on that picture. I said West Coast because it's like
I saw that. Yeah.
I know that. I don't know exactly where that is, but I know someone who will. We know someone who will. Jimmy. So I sent him this message. He responded. He said, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Gandalf said. Gandalf? I mean Dandrulf? Gamgrel? Something like that. So, man, when we get down there, we've got to have a beer with Jimmy. He said, bro, that's Bethel's Beach or Tehenga Beach in Maui, about 12 minutes up the road from my house. He saw that picture and said, I know exactly where that is. It's Bethel's Beach. It's Tehenga. Or wow. Tehenga. Excuse me. Also, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but he's at Queenstown, and he's possibly going to be moving there. And he sent me some pictures of where Aragorn and Theoden are attacked by the wargs. Anyway, so it's really cool. He just he's going to be moving. He's going to be getting out. He's going to Queenstown, another place that was huge in the Lord of the Rings trilogy filming. But he knows exactly where that is. Bethel's Beach, Tehenga. So very, very cool. He also did want to clarify, when he did see Joseph Mall, he was not sweaty from filming.
Sure. Yeah.
I had assumed he had just gotten done shooting and filming it. He was like, you guys are hilarious. He was out on a run. He's like an avid runner. And he was like, he had been out on a run. He was in running clothes and stuff, I'm assuming. So he wasn't filming. He said, I liked how you guys, kind of took that step, but it wasn't because of that. So there you go. Editing that. But anyway, just really exciting. Really exciting to know that they were there just a couple weeks ago. And they've spent, I mean, if Jimmy saw them or saw Joseph in that area too in like December, January, they've been there for a good chunk of time.
Is that season
in this
2?
Location?
I mean,
I don't know, Ez. It's so cool. It's all a mystery. It's fun to speculate on, but yeah, we don't really know. We have no more real hard facts than we had before. Is it Pendalot? Is it Pendalot or is it Camelot?
It's
something's
pending. That's for sure. I think it's a show.
Pendalot.
So, here's the thing. Somebody asked Jimmy, like when you smell. You know how you're sitting out there, you're waiting for the cake to come out, right? And you can smell the different cakes. So is this was he smelling season 2 cake or season 1 here? Because we've been smelling a chocolate cake for a while, and this is starting to seem like a cake. This is a carrot cake.
Well, now I'm confused because I feel like I can kind of smell ice cream cake coming out, and you don't. I don't think you baked that in the oven, as I think you know what happened if you baked an ice cream cake in an oven? You'd ruin it.
Cast it in the fire.
It'd be cheesecake at that point. Wait, is that how they make cheesecake? Do they bake ice cream? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I know I rambled there. I went on far longer than I should have, but there was so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So much to speculate on. I think I even left some stuff out, but that's okay.
No, we're fine.
Just so exciting. Yeah. So exciting. Oh, okay. So here's what Jimmy said real quick. He said, thanks for the shout out. Awesome that my news made you guys so excited. I should clarify because I forgot to put this in my email. He was sweaty because he was going for a run and I managed to catch him at the lights. Apparently Joseph is a really keen runner. Just so no one thinks that Joseph Mall is just generally a sweaty dude and I get sued for libel.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. He was on a run and he saw him at a light. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing, one of the lead characters, one of the lead actors just running, on the side
no
of the
big
road.
deal.
Pretty cool.
No big deal.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, it's also pretty cool we have an insider. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. We got inside sources on the island.
Jimmy's gonna keep us up to date.
Yeah.
Our Numenorian insider.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Me too. So thank you for everyone. Hopefully that was a nice little entertaining bit of news. It's been a while since we've had, we have talked that long in show news, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Yes.
So it was nice to kind of sit there and speculate a little bit, and I think we're ready for the reread, my friend.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive into into the Hobbit here.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10, yes. So here's the deal, guys, with this chapter.
Was this the chapter that was changed the most in the films? I would say, yeah.
Really?
I would say big time. I mean, remember in the movies, like, they were brought up through the toilets.
Oh, yeah.
They were kept secret.
Shoot.
And
yeah.
there was all this tension between Bard and the Master, and, like, these dwarves shouldn't be here. They're a harbinger of bad things to come. We got a little bit of that, but not much.
No, not honestly.
Not much at all. It truly was a warm welcome.
It was very warm.
Very warm.
Just a very warm welcome.
Very welcoming.
It was very cold. It was just very welcoming. It was, but get out of the barrels. They're cold. It's warm. I don't know what was going on. So this is cool. I love when we do these things because one day, if it's safe, we will, when we're ready to retire from podcasting, which I've done 2 to 3 times, we'll release the doc so you guys can see all the maps in here because we got a sick map in here.
Oh, yeah.
Just looking at the Forest River as it comes out into Laketown. So,
yeah.
This is all kind of, we're coming out of Mirkwood, the Elven King's Hall, right? We got in the barrels, and we made our way out. So thankfully, Bilbo, he does his job and
saves the day, man.
Once again.
Save the day.
Saves him once again.
Yes.
So anyways, we get down the Forest River, though, and I'm going to kind of just summarize this real quick. Actually, we have a summary. I guess I could just read a bit of this for you folks.
Sure, buddy.
So yeah, following the escape of the dwarves from the wood elves, Bilbo listened to the talk of the raft elves. He realized they were very fortunate to have escaped the way they had. He saw that the path that Beorn had told them to follow came to a, quote, doubtful and little used end at the eastern edge of the forest. So really, it's a lengthy explanation as to where it's fortunate, right? There, it's lucky. Gandalf, when he hears about it, will think his anxiety goes through the roof, like, oh shoot. But at the same point in time, this ended up being a very sneaky way to kind of get through where they needed to get through it. It gets them actually a little further along, further north, I think, if I'm looking at this map right, as they come out of Mirkwood. It looks like they would have came out even a little further south, and it wouldn't have been exactly where they needed to be. So, ironically, they end up a little bit closer to the Lonely Mountain, Laketown, and Dale and such, which just is pretty cool. So there's that. After a while, they came to a long lake, and by the way, this is can't see the end of it. Kind of stretches right on up there to
it's huge.
Erebor, wild. Right, so the long lake is there. Bilbo marvels at this. We know how hobbits are with large bodies of water.
Don't trust it.
Came to Laketown, a small collection of huts and buildings built on stilts over the water. So Laketown, let me just remind friends, it is not like a town next to the lake. It is a town on a lake. All right, so it is Laketown.
Yeah, if it was in, like, Shakespearean times, it would be Town on Lake.
Town on Lake, guys. There,
you know?
Yeah, yes. And actually, I thought they did a really good job in the film. I really like the way it's laid out.
Visually, it's beautiful. And there's actually a cool... Did you see the cool map of Laketown itself with the market water and the town hall? Yeah. So cool.
Yes, it is, yes. So, we got these collection of buildings here. First, the dwarves are to be unloaded... and as they're being, actually, the first one to be unloaded is Thorin. We'll talk more about like him and what's going on there. They all kind of get out. They do the thing to shorten this up a bit. They're making their way along, sneaking past the guards. They talk about why the guards aren't really, keeping a watch like they should. Who's this Smog fella? Let's laugh at the old folk who say he once breathed fire all over everyone. They've forgotten about Smog. They've forgotten about the dragon. It doesn't seem real. It's such an old legend and lore. The guards aren't really
time out of mind. Yeah,
right. That kind of thing is happening, and then we're able to sneak in and we get into the Master of Laketown, and we'll talk about that at the end here. So that's our kind of setup for this and where we're at. I guess besides the toilets, though, I was thinking it was not straightforward. It seems like it goes kind of the same way, except for you're right. There is all that animosity happening in the sneaking in that's different. So
yeah, and I think what they tried to do, obviously, in the films is use that time to develop Bard's character, because we don't run into Bard in this chapter, but he's the one who gets the dwarves safely into Laketown, and there's much more this idea that if he didn't do that, there's no way they were going to make it in. He gives them weapons, or I can't even remember. It's probably like we meet Bard's family, his kid. There's a lot of time spent on that development of making Bard a much more well-developed, less flat, rounder character, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Other than that, it is pretty straightforward. You were talking about luck, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a quick plug for I started finally reading this book again, Tom Shippey's Author of the Century, okay? Speaking of old Tom, all right? I need to get you this book. I haven't read this, I don't think, since high school when I did my freshman research paper on Tolkien. And he has an entire section. He goes through all of his work. And this whole book is like pretty much Shippey's thesis of why Tolkien was in fact the greatest author of the 20th century, which is, you think about all the prolific writers,
Sure. Yes.
and how fantasy, right, the genre of fantasy, we take it for granted now because of what Tolkien did, but how fantasy was. There were academics who said Tolkien is not a great writer. He writes fantasy. And what he did for the fantasy genre to take it from kind of abstract and in some cases just like lists, almost kind of biblical in that way, just lists of names. Right. And see, like, for instance, the list of names of dwarves comes from this ancient Eddic poem, I believe, where there are all these dwarven names. He takes eight of the dwarves' names. He just takes from that list, changes a little bit, moves them further down the timeline, maybe makes them a little more English.
Wow.
But the name Gandalf is in there as well. So part of what Shippey was talking about was one of the reasons he decided to write The Hobbit in the way he did was he saw this list and he's like, that name's not right. And for us, we're like, oh, cool, Gandalf is in that list too. That's where you got the name.
Sure.
But all these other names, are, from a philological standpoint, they're all, that makes sense as a dwarf. Those all make sense as a dwarf. And I can't understand it because I'm a dummy. But this name, Gandalfr, has the root alver in it, which is elf. I believe it literally means elf with a wand or elf with a staff. And so he looked at I knew you would love this. So he looks at this. He looks at this list and he's like, how did this elf with a wand, elf with a staff, get mixed up in this list of dwarves? How did that come to be? And so his genius mind, the trick he used was, I'm going to tell a story of why they would be in the same list. And that the Hobbit takes this historical, mythological list that you can go look up and may have been real names. We don't know. And says, okay, this is the story that informs that list. My story makes this list even more true. And vice versa. This list makes my story more true. Makes The Hobbit, in a sense, a true story because it takes these things. So, but anyway, okay. Before you respond to that, he mentioned luck, okay? Because you just brought up luck, and I wanted to bring this up because we think of luck as this thing that, hopefully I get this right too. We think of luck as chance, right? Mm-hmm. And so another thing that Tom Shippey does is he goes through and he analyzes all these devices, all these words that Tolkien uses. It's amazing. I'm getting you this book, bro. I'm going to Amazon it to you because it's amazing. Like, I want to go back and re-record stuff because I've learned so much. Anyway, he talks about luck and the way Tolkien uses it as distinctly and carefully different from chance or commonplace good fortune. He goes to the more original meaning of luck. When he uses luck, what he's talking about, a different concept altogether, one of an almost religious nature, almost more like what did like the founding fathers call it? Providence. Like instead of luck, it's some higher power, some higher beings, destiny, right? We always talked about the decision versus destiny, or both during Lord of the Rings, that it's more of a power like that. So I just thought that was interesting. He brought that up. Luck, the word luck was Old English in origin, and it's an obscure, its etymology is obscure. We don't even know where it came from. And the reason he associates it with hobbits is because that once again, it's an ancient belief that had survived into modern times unnoticed, just like hobbits. Isn't it crazy? So anyway, a little plug. If you haven't ever read, I know a lot of people who are listening have read that book, but if you haven't, or it's been a while, like it's been for me, go pick it up, read it. It is so good. It's just like, and the way Shippey analyzes Tolkien too, he's a master himself. Shippey's a master himself. But like, you just digest this stuff. It's like, it literally feels akin to eating a good meal. Like, you go through it slowly, you analyze what he says, you're like, holy crap. Like, it's one of those books you read where you feel your brain getting a little bit bigger. You're like, okay, wow. Like, he breaks it down in such a way that pushes you, but he doesn't leave you behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does it in a way that you're like, okay, wow. And it just, what he's doing, especially in this section, so he has a section about Lord of the Rings, he has a section about Middle-earth in general, concepts of evil. I mean, it's a 300-plus page book. But what he's doing for The Hobbit is he's talking about reinventing Middle-earth. And the way, what it does is it fleshes out all this deeper meaning that you would read through The Hobbit, and a lot of people do. You know, and we at times, it is easy to take lighthearted, but to think that he is grappling with and planting seeds for much bigger things, right? That lead into the Lord of the Rings. That he had already written some of these ancient tales that would become the Silmarillion. So he's drawing upon that, connecting it to this, also finding philological influences and things that he knows of in mythology and bringing that in and using that as like background to tell this story. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
That is crazy. I'm blown away by the idea that you would go tell a story about, you find an ancient list, and this name seems out of place, but we don't know anything about it. We're not really sure why that individual was placed with these other individuals who all seem family, like related, of the same group. This one is a guide, is maybe that as you're interpreting the list, you start to think, why would an elf be mixed up
with a dwarf?
Yeah, why is this guy in here?
And then the story can just evolve from there. Like,
maybe he led him on a quest or a journey. And it's just been forgotten over time, and the story was told he was one of their number. You know,
company. Yep.
That's wild. The irony here is that I was gonna, before you started that, I was about to tie out. You just took us super serious, you know, and just took us to an epic level. I was about to make a Hobbit junk food joke. So so The Hobbit has this going.
Please tell me what it is.
Well, what do you call a Hobbit who likes junk food?
Oh wow! This is like a riddle.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. All
right, Lord of the Onion Rings. But shout out to Lizzie for that. By the way, she's writing all my jokes for me because I've been recruiting people to send me jokes, and so
that's awesome.
Lane's, but no, you and I talked about this probably, when was this? Either last recording or something. We're like, how serious do you take The Hobbit? Like, how deep do you want to go? How much research should we go look into? So I love that because actually, that one little nugget right there is enough for me to take the Hobbit as serious as I've ever wanted to take it. So, which is great.
Well, and it's just, I mean, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that he was, well, just his knowledge. You also learn in this that he would, and it's something I had forgotten. You know, I knew that he was, but he was one of maybe like, in some cases, he was the only one, like the only person in the world who understood the philological backgrounds of these words. Like he wrote definitions and etymologies for the Oxford English Dictionary.
Yeah. Yes.
Like he worked for them for a time. Like he was their expert on what is the history of this word? Where does it come from? How do you know? Like he everything was through that lens, right? When we talk about this idea that he wrote these stories so the language he created could have a world to live in, it really was. That really was his impetus for writing these stories, was so that his languages and his love of history of words, and it's something that he hated that no one else took seriously. He was like he would mourn the fact that languages were dying, that languages were becoming less complex, that vocabularies were being lost, that origins of those words were being lost, and that it wasn't taken seriously. So
there was actually just a major article out. I don't remember where this was because I teach reading class and etymology and just like Latin, looking at Latin roots and morphology and things. And we read something. Gosh, I can't remember. This was maybe a month ago or not too long ago about the languages that were being lost, little cultures and different groups of people and things that were within the next 100 years. Gone. So many languages
extinct
will be
languages
gone, and I'm like, wait, what? It's
crazy.
just it's wild to kind of think about. So, interesting, awesome. Okay, and actually, as we're talking about Gandalf here, so just to kind of summarize this first part, one of the things I thought was interesting is that Gandalf is far away, and that there is something going on there, right? Yeah. It's all alluded to that he has something else. So.
Which is cool because it's a nice touchstone for remembering that like Gandalf's part in the story isn't done, and he really is. He's not just screwing around with Beorn, or trying to go on a date with Galadriel. Like he's working.
But he did do those things, right? I mean, that's
I hope so. I would think.
Yeah, I'm shipping that.
Is there fan fiction on Galadriel and Gandalf?
Absolutely,
you think there is?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, I'm
like
pretty sure Tom Shippey wrote it.
was the marriage to Celeborn just like a royalty thing, like just an elven thing?
That
had to happen. I know so many people are probably like,
they're so mad.
Speak of them that way.
How dare you?
How dare you?
No, I know that was a big thing though. Especially after The Hobbit, people really started to say, "Hey, what's going on here?"
And is it just like a movie thing, or? I mean, because we realize like what he does after he defeats the Balrog and is brought back, he goes to Lothlorien.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Why? He's trying to catch up with the Fellowship. I think he's trying to catch up with something else, or someone else.
People are gonna hate us for even
what
approaching this topic.
What member of the Fellowship was he really looking after?
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
Gosh.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Rein us back in. Come on.
Of these barrels from which we are shivering and smelling like fish in. All right. So Gandalf, if he had known of this news, if this news had reached Gandalf far away and it would have given him great anxiety. Yeah. And so he was keeping up on them and he wanted to get back to Bilbo and company. But yeah, let's just talk real quickly about the dwarves and their. They are thankful that Bilbo gets them out. They are a little grumpy about it. Thorin is not. He's not particularly happy. They all smell like who was it? Apples, right?
And they said they'd never be able to eat an apple again.
Yeah, imagine
right?
That, just
like it. I know. What a terrible thing to have ruined. Yeah,
it does seem like quite a long journey.
Was it Keely or Feely who said that? Maybe. It was one of the younger ones, I think. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it would even seem longer because you weren't really sure. They weren't even really sure where they were or how long it was going to be. They just had to climb in the barrels, and they were out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were, and those who came out that were those who were either younger or who were better packed came out a lot better, right? So
yeah.
So here's the part where it's probably more interesting, which is where we get the barrels. So as soon as the raft of barrels came in sight, boats rowed out from the piles of the town, and the voices hailed the raft steers. Then ropes were cast and oars were pulled, and soon the raft was drawn out of the current of the forest river. So you have probably like 2 to 3 pages where it's just describing the land in this new region that we're coming into. The marshes and the bogs and how far they spread, the rumors of earthquakes before all of that, and now that's attributed to smog. So yeah, that's really kind of the lay of the land, and really the relationship between Laketown and the Elven King, and the barrels, the trading, the economy back and forth is the major. What I got as the major takeaway, from that first batch of paragraphs. So
yeah, totally.
Said,
and almost kind of more of a Lord of the Rings kind of thing, right? With that description of the of a brand new location. Like Lord of the Rings, it probably would have lasted like 2 or 3 pages, but it's a couple of paragraphs here. But yeah, very. He does that so well. Like he sets up settings in such a nice way that you can visualize, and working in that some of this was damaged by, that some of this is a result of smog's activity, that's why the land is the way it is, and some of it's just kind of natural because it's a river going into a big lake. It's going to be kind of boggy and stuff, and do you remember, so there's one interesting line here about Bilbo and him knowing where they were based upon a map, right? So the only there's this description. I bring this up because I like to look at maps, and I like to look at the lay of the land here. And actually, you go back to the Lord of the Rings, when was it Pippin who was criticized for not looking at the map and not knowing where they were going, and Merry's talking to him. So the Long Lake is where we are here. Bilbo had never imagined that any water, that wasn't the sea could be so big, right? Mm-hmm. It's wide. The opposite shore looked small and far, but it was long, so that its northern end, which pointed towards the mountain, could not be seen at all. Only from the map did Bilbo know that away up there, where the stars of the Wain were already twinkling, the running river came down into the lake from Dale, and with the forest river filled the deep waters that must once have been a great, deep, rocky valley. So that's kind of interesting. Like you can't even see this from where he's at, especially too. But he does know and has an understanding that even though I can't see the northern tip of this lake, I know that be where Dale and this lonely mountain are located. Yeah,
so.
And that plays into his. We learn about that within the first chapter, don't we? Of his love of maps and how his Tookish side was always obsessed with, like well done maps and imagining what was beyond, and we always talk about the white spaces being filled in and things like that. And then I love like how Tolkien does this subtly too. How he talks about how this river fills in this lake, which at one time just showing how old this world is and how the world has changed. Just imagining that at one time it was just a deep rocky valley, that it wasn't a lake at all, that this world is ancient. This is the first. This is the first book that we're so. It's hard to think of it that way because so many of us. I guess a lot of us read The Hobbit first, but like me, I read Lord of the Rings first. I was more accustomed to that as opposed to The Hobbit. Which when you read The Hobbit first, and that's just a little trick, a little nugget to show that this is a very old world we're in. And that's the other thing too that Shippy talks about. Middle Earth isn't even a term that's used.
Right.
This is we eventually know that this is Middle Earth, but right now it's like, where is it? Is this another universe? Is this the world but long ago? What is this?
Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's not. That you have to kind of wonder and
it fills you with wonder, and I guess in a lot of ways it helps put you in the shoes of Bilbo in some sense because he's filled with wonder so often and out of his comfort zone and his depth, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I had this thought when I was reading earlier, and it's right before we get out of because the action takes place here in just a second. So maybe my last point on this first sort of build up to us getting out of the barrels and going into Laketown.
Yeah.
They're describing Dale, describing some of the rumors and things with Durin folk and what may happen in the future if they ever come back and the mountain and all this kind of stuff, right? So let me just read this a bit here. A great bridge made of wood ran out to where on huge piles made of forest trees was built a busy wooden town. Not a town of elves, but of men who still dared to dwell under the shadow of the distant Dragon Mountain. So, this is a town not of elves, but of men who, by the way, dwell under the shadow of the distant Dragon Mountain. Yeah. This actually made me think, like, if you're Tolkien and you're, I don't know, and this is probably not what he was thinking, but what I thought of, I don't live near a volcano. I wouldn't live next to a volcano. People do, though. A sleeping dragon. I mean, it's the
same as a volcano.
Yeah, and it's
same thing.
And people, what you hear is from some of the folk who were around when the mountain last erupted. Like, look, it's real. That thing will actually. Don't go too close. Don't upset it. Don't whatever. It actually has the capability of going off.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, that's just like a volcano. This is crazy.
Yes.
You know, they're right here in the shadow.
Matter
of this.
Matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Anyway, just interesting.
Do you think? Well, and no, that's an awesome comparison because how many people live next to volcanoes? Or, dude, like the whole theory of when Yosemite goes. Like when Yosemite blows up, we're all screwed. Like it's gonna destroy but it's like, nah, it won't happen to us. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Somebody else. It'll be so far past our time. Like we might not even be around anyway. And it's like, but it could happen anytime. Nobody knows. Like it's unpredictable. And a dragon is the same for sure. I also was thinking as you're talking, I'm like, it's okay. So volcano, fire, dragon, fire. This town could have been built like, a couple miles on the ground, right? On Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. So I think to myself, is this whole water thing, is it like a false sense of security? Is it a safety blanket where you're like, what is the opposite of I know that, we're building wood structures here, but what is the opposite of fire? It's water, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe part of the rationale too is, well, we might lose our town, but we can jump into the water, and who knows if this great fire worm can go into the water, and for sure his fire breathing would be extinguished, so we could swim away and maybe, not have to leave this area that we have come to love, but be able to, survive if we're attacked, kind of a deal.
That's really interesting,
right?
Yeah. Look, there's a possibility that a dragon might come down here and breathe a bunch of fire on us, but don't worry, we got this lake. All right,
got a fire department.
So,
right
do you think they're running? You think they're running smog drills? Like, all right, kids, run out, and jump in the lake. I mean,
grab your buckets.
A little insensitive, but
no, I mean, you never know, man. I mean,
smog drill. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot it was the end of the month. We got to get our smog drill in.
They're giving the announcement out to the teachers and the principals. Look,
it's the bell. They just ring the bell. That's what
don't be alarmed. We got a guy with a kite out there. It's not smog. We're fine. We're all fine here. Could you imagine?
That'd be awesome, dude.
It's crazy.
That'd be
it's
awesome.
Crazy. But you know what? They weren't running these. So they might have been running the old smog drill, but they were not running the Durin's folk returning drill.
No, they were unprepared for that.
They were unprepared for that.
They were unprepared for that.
Although it says that men did remember. They sang old songs of the dwarf kings of the mountain.
Yeah.
Thor and Thrain of the race of Durin, and the coming of the dragon and the fall of the lords of Dale. Some sang, too, that Thor and Thrain would come back one day, right?
Yeah.
And basically reclaim the gold, and that gold would flow in the rivers.
in the films, we kind of catch a glimpse of this not through song and ancient tales remembered, but through like the tapestry. Remember the tapestry that Bard finds that has like Thorin's lineage. Well, not Thorin's, but Durin's lineage on it, and it's Bard who puts two and two together that I have a bunch of dwarves trying to sneak into Esgarath, right close to Mountain Town, yeah. Worm Town,
Worm City. I'm sorry, I got distracted because you said tapestry, and I was thinking, what kind of dance is he talking about?
Oh man,
what is he talking about? I could, for the life of me, not figure out. Oh yeah, the blanket looking thing. Got
way
it.
back.
Richard
George. Shout out to Richard George from Chicago.
Oh my god,
an old time upper who just got a kick out of the tapestry debate. Which one is it? I don't know.
Honestly, when you say them that quick,
I know,
like side by side, it really throws me.
And it's when you see it spelled, you're like, that's
the funny thing is, I know people.
E.
They think we're joking. They think I'm joking about it, but
we're not joking.
Yeah,
sadly, it's all too true.
Yeah. So
yeah,
but let's
that's as his real dragon. That word. That's your real dragon.
Oh wow. I live in its shadow every day. I can't believe you brought it this close. It was a drill. I totally failed.
Ezra's like, I'm never going to a castle because I know they hang those on the wall. I'm not saying that word.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Moving on into Laketown. The Forest River takes us there. We get out of these barrels. As I said earlier, Thorin is not too happy, not too pleased. But he's happy to be alive, right?
Right.
Bilbo does save them, and eventually, after the groaning and the moaning, they're going to be just fine, right?
Yeah, and he asks him kind of crossly. He says, well, are you alive or are you dead?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we see this hobbit, like, who, at first they mocked him and they said he's more of a grocer than a burglar and all this stuff, and he was totally intimidated by that, and probably rightly so back in the Shire. And here he is, they're fussing and moaning again, and he just puts them in their place.
Yeah.
Are you still in prison or are you free?
Right. Right. Yeah. So they're thankful. Eventually, after a while, they just take some time. They're
grumpy. Dwarves are grumpy.
Yeah. Took a little time. Dwalin and Balin also not happy.
Isn't it also
Beaufort? Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it also kind of funny because they were the ones warning Bilbo of like all these dangerous things we're going to encounter?
Yeah, right.
They're like the classic like talking them up, and then they get in the situations. They're like, "Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I didn't think this is awful." And it's like you could see Bilbo just going, "What? Isn't this what you guys said it was going to be? Like, who's complaining here?
You guys were laughing at me. Yeah, I've saved you guys twice now. What's going on here?
Yeah. Oh, I own your butt. Okay.
Right. Spiders, me, magical ring, sting.
Yeah.
No big deal.
This sounds like my company, actually.
Okay. Could have left you guys. Could have went back home. Could have left with the Elven King. Yeah.
Yeah, so. Bro. Leaves.
Anyway,
dude, you just left leaves, Elven King, crown.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, you're so deep.
I don't even know it. Sometimes, right?
I know. I just get lost in your eyes, dude.
Wow. That's just the blue lights behind me, dude. It's the blue lights.
Well, there's just so much blue that I just get sucked. I get sucked in.
All right, look. Wow. It's a blue lake. We're moving on, friends. Philly and Killy, they're the younger dwarves. They're doing just fine. Here we go. The apple smell. What would if they're okay? Let's do reals. Let me. My favorite thing.
I got a question for you too. Yeah.
Your favorite thing.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Oh, sorry.
Not embarrassing.
To derail the podcast here.
Yeah. My last aside.
A barrel, right?
Yeah.
Full of what? What would be like? I don't think apples would be that bad. I was thinking like fish.
Nah.
Would be like that was a pretty good.
Yeah.
In the film,
it's all the association of like you're gonna feel sick, so you're gonna associate feeling sick with that food. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what didn't have the effect on me. You want that?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking about telling you this on an episode the other day. This is magical. Christmas of my 12th year on this earth. I don't remember what year that was. I think I was 12. I remember like being too cool, you know. So I had just gotten a TV in my room, and I was watching Scrooged on TBS.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Christmas Eve. I think I was being like a mopey preteen, and I was like, I'm just going to take this pizza into my room. So I took a... Dude, this is going to be a flashback for you. I don't know if this was one of my favorite places. I took a medium, and for a 12-year-old, it's not too bad. You're in between being a hungry, ravenous teenager and a little kid who never eats anything.
Right.
I took a medium, plain cheese, Ron's pizza.
Wow.
Upstairs, best crust in town.
Yeah.
Ron's had the best crust in town, like crackers. Like cracker crust. Took it up into my room, ate the whole thing, watched Scrooged, fell asleep. Not gluttonous at all, you know? No shame. I woke up and puked every ounce of pizza into that toilet. Thought I was going to die. If you said right now, Lane, you could have a large cheese pizza from Ron's right now in front of you, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I would take it. That experience did not dissuade me from thank God, pizza in general, but not even Ron's pizza. And that's not the first time I've gotten sick on pizza. So I have a proposal for you. I don't think he liked apples to begin with.
True.
I don't think he truly enjoyed a darn apple to begin with. Okay, that's what I think. So I think he's blaming this I think he's blaming this barrel thing, so that people aren't like, you don't like apples? What's wrong with you, bro? You don't like apples? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's blaming the barrels on it. What about you? This
goes back to Rivendell. When this is where they get in the movie, kind of why the food,
lettuce,
the fruits. I mean, the whatever veggies, fruits, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What about you? What's one thing that you would lament having to never eat again?
I can't believe that we've actually said the word puke 2 to 3 times on this episode. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I mean,
because we said it earlier and I can't even remember what it was in reference to, and I know someone's gonna go back like, that's like the 3rd time these guys have mentioned this. So for me,
three times always.
Wow, this is wild. It's you ever had that lemon cream cake or cream pudding? Lemon, straight lemon.
You don't like
lemon pie? Is it a lemon pie? Is what it is?
Lemon meringue pie?
Yeah, it's like a creamy kind of. Got like the whip top, whatever it is.
Yes, and then the layer of lemon, and then like the meringue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, man, just a lemon pie. I know lemon custard pie is probably what
something
you're talking
like
about.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
All I know is, and the reason I don't know really what it is because if it enters the room, I exit the room.
Really?
Oh man,
lemon desserts are an aversion for a lot of people. Sarah can't stand them.
Yeah.
Winnie, I don't think Winnie likes them. Charlotte loves them. I love them. Bro, one of my favorite things to get is like a lemon drizzle blueberry cake. Just rife with zest and juice and just beaming with that yellow golden light. I love it. I love lemon.
Yeah. I don't know. One of those things. I think it was something back in the day. I was kind of sick around that time when it was at some family function, and I ate a piece of it, and obviously was sick. So
I thought you were gonna say ribs, smoked ribs.
That's what the earlier reference was.
That was it.
Oh man, jeez, you cow guys. These episodes sometimes they go so long. We lose track of what did we say in the beginning. Anyway. Here we are. So we're out of the barrels. Yeah. Everyone's patting each other on the back, saying, "Hey, we're doing fine."
Yeah. Where do we go now? Where do we go?
Yeah. So they're sneaking up on the kind of the guards. I kind of mentioned ahead of time that the relationship between the river folk and the wood elves, and the barrels, and the back and forth.
Yeah.
They are astonished by Thorin Oakenshield when he kind of like steps in there, right? Who are you and what do you want? They shouted, leaping to their feet. And these are the guards. They're groping for their weapons. Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thror, king under the mountain, said the dwarf in a loud voice. So he announces himself, let it be known, drop all of those names, and let the rumors run throughout the city is kind of the deal. You know, there's this interesting thing where when he's talking to the guards, in like every movie, in every story, it seems like a lot of them anyways, you come to that moment where the guards are kind of like, I don't know about this guy. I'm not so sure that you are who you say you are, right? Yeah. And the way that character gets out of that is by saying, well, if you make it, if you're wrong,
try me.
If you're wrong, your master is going to be upset with you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yes, you appeal to the master. Yeah.
If you're right, you're the guy who brought me before the master,
True.
right?
True.
And he does that here, and I'm just sort of like, oh, this isn't, did Tolkien do this way back in the day? I mean,
he probably did.
He's the oldest thing I read, so I don't know.
He's pretty old. He's dead.
People are like, Ez, the Bible is. What are you? Come on now.
Well, allegedly. I mean, allegedly.
I don't know.
Tolkien
wrote that too.
Whoa.
Anyway. Whoa.
Can you say that? Like, you got nervous there. Holy Spirit's knocking your mic out.
Holy Ghost just walked in here and knocked my mic around. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Lord forgive me.
Lord bless us.
So he's in here. There. Let me see. Where do we want to go next here? Yeah, he makes his announcement. They ask who the others are with him as well.
Yeah,
Billy and Kelly are there too. Yeah.
I was just gonna say one of the good things about their current state is they're not coming with arms. Like they have no weapons.
No.
And they says, lay your weapons down. We have none. Right. And to make such a bold proclamation of who you are, your identity, and to not come with, any kind of weapons, it's like, all right, well, they're either crazy or they're right. So that's the other thing too, is either they're wackos, lost their marbles, delusions of grandeur, or they're who they say they are.
Well, and there is kind of a plainness to these dwarves as well, because we're about to go, take me to your master. There's some discussion as to Philly and Killy, which is cool. Fathers, daughters, sons, and so
sister sons. Yeah,
exactly.
Or sons of my father's daughter. Yeah, probably also
they're related,
too, man. They're related, and not in a Kentucky way. So it's probably.
How dare you?
Okay.
You offended our.
I'm from southeastern Ohio. Okay,
I'm a UK fan.
I'm a river person.
I highly am. I'm offended.
You're Kentucky born, man. Don't.
All right, go ahead.
But I was just gonna. Don't remember what I was gonna say. That's great. What a dumb, stupid. It wasn't even that good, but I think it would have added something.
It would have.
That's what I think about most of the things I say. I'm like, it's not really that good, but I think it might add something. What were we talking about?
Relations, weapons.
Whoa, what?
Getting in to see the master of
okay,
Laketown.
all right. So, these guards in Laketown, being kind of like a trade city and having business with elves is probably advantageous for the dwarves as well, because it's not like it would be strange to see someone different at the bridge, at the guard tower, at the castellum.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be like out of the ordinary. It would be like, whoa, you're not men. What is it?
Yeah.
It's okay, it's a dwarf. These are dwarves. All right, we've heard of them. We've probably seen them. We trade with a lot of people. All right.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as novel, I guess, then as if it was like a group of hobbits showing up, where it's like, what the crap? Or it's like Ents walking on the bridge. Like, what is going on here? You're like, well, they're dwarves. Okay.
I mean, think about this though. Could any dwarf just wandering through be like, you know what? Look, I know it's not actually the return, but I am starving. I am absolutely. Could you imagine? Some guy says they haven't seen our kind in years. Matter of fact, we're just in their songs and their lore, and I need a bite to eat tonight. So, guy walks in. I mean, I'm just thinking some random dwarf walks in. I don't know, dusts up his beard a little bit, and he says,
"Hey,
I'm back, baby. I'm back."
I hear you guys got a real nice fish fillet. Now come on in, fish sandwich. Let's do it.
Fish sandwich.
Oh, you know it's been tried.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm thinking. Like they're like
probably by
this guy.
Probably by Thorin's in-laws. They probably just crept up to the guard, thing, and we're like,
yeah, is there like a Sackville Bagginses of their like offshoot?
There has to be.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. So they take him in to see the master. He makes proclamation again. I am Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thror, king under the mountain. I return. Boom. All leaped to their feet. The master of the town sprang up in his chair, but none rose in great surprise, or greater surprise than the raftmen of the elves who were sitting at the lower end of the hall. Now, they're going, now, we've heard that this guy should be locked up with our king, and here he is. And so they're a little upset. The master's going like, you know when the people start to kind of, this guy's like, I don't have a whole lot of control here, actually.
Yeah.
So let me feel out the crowd and see which way I need to move.
He felt like a classic like politician. Like, let me read my constituents real quick. Okay. Yeah, we're good with, you know what? I'm going to put the king's relationship with the king on hold. I'm with my people here. These guys are fine. Come on in.
Right. Come on.
It's fine.
Yeah. Matter of fact, by me it's such a popular thing that you're just like, yeah, let's roll with it. This is.
Look what I'm doing for him. See, yeah, come on in. Let me host you.
We brought up the idea of a poser moments ago, and think at the risk here that the master of Laketown. I mean, what if this is not the right guy? You know.
What if
truly the risk is that Smaug is like out there, okay? I mean, he's real. So
that's true. Really, I mean, at the worst, you got a couple of hobbits. Jeez, just take me out of the game. Put me on the bench. Call up the third stringer. Do it. Just do it. I'm just joking.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't you ever, Ez, consider that?
Why would you do that? Why would you entertain that idea, didn't you?
I did not want to have to go up and your daughter is asleep.
What are the people saying? Get them out!
They want Winnie and Charlotte back. They're asleep, guys.
I think I can rock this song, though.
Oh, my gosh.
I was going to say pretty much the worst thing the master would have is some squatters. You know, it's like, okay, you guys said you were going to the mountain. You've been here 4 months. It's time to... people are starting to get a little suspicious. Can you at least just like wander off towards the mountain and you can go somewhere? But they're starting to turn on me. They're starting to question my leadership, which is valid.
Right. Oh, you ready for this? You ready for this?
I'm ready for this, dude.
So this is the what is this song about here? Let me what's the they just break out in song, right? I mean,
the king beneath the mountains, the king of carven stone, the lord of silver fountains shall come into his own. His crown shall be upholden, his harp shall be restrung, his hall shall echo golden to songs of yore resung. The woods shall wave on mountains and grass beneath the sun. His wealth shall flow in fountains and the river and run. The streams shall run in gladness, the lakes shall shine and burn. All sorrow fail and sadness at the mountain king's return. Yeah, you got the horns going. I did have a little shocked face next to the line, the lakes shall shine and burn.
Wow.
Like, no, why'd you sing that part, first of all? Like, do you want this to happen?
Yeah,
and
really.
Also, I know that you're probably thinking like, gold. It's going to be, I have a gold lake, everybody. What? Hey, come on down to Gold Lake. But it's like, dragon, burn.
Right,
Are we asking for this? Like, do we want this? Is this why you're on a lake? Are you tempting the dragon?
That's not good. And it's right there at the end. Everything seems
right
all
there?
just...
Yeah.
Everything's fine and silver and carven and golden and whatever. And then, yes, possibility that the lake is going to shine and burn. Wow, okay. Hey, and you know what? What was the song that the last one where I turned it into like a really just sad, somber kind of...
Yeah, what was that?
What was that one? Because I
like to... You're dark.
Well, no,
dark,
not that there is another... But I mean, they're all celebrating, and I have this weird sort of sense of humor where I'm like, what is going to be somber? Song? Someone, like everyone's, and one singer stands up and he starts to sing it. And people were like, what? Dude, like.
They throw tomatoes at him or something.
It's so stupid.
Throw fish at him.
Yeah, folks can imagine what that would be like. Anyways.
I think they want to see you reenact it, honestly, or bring it to life.
I did that last time. It's just you gotta just draw out the king beneath the mountains.
Sometimes when it starts like that, this is what I hear. If I were a king of the forest. I always think of the Cowardly Lion. I don't know why.
Oh yeah. And maybe that's who I'm imagining, kind of like.
You would have nailed the Cowardly Lion. You would have been a good Cowardly Lion, and I would have been an awesome Scarecrow. Let's do it, man.
I'm looking at our faces right now, going, I have a lion's face. Back off me.
Yes, you do, man.
You know,
and you have a lower back ponytail, so it's already there.
It's already there. All right, moving on.
Yeah,
so they sang this wonderful song, and it's great, and then there's much shouting, and there's all these different things going on.
Yeah.
What else kind of happens here?
Nothing.
The Wood Elves.
They're rock stars, man.
They're rock stars, but it's the Wood Elves who are still kind of complaining, grumbling, and rumbling, right?
Well, it makes them look bad, doesn't it? It makes them look bad.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like these guys got in our barrels, and they snuck out? Like, how are we going to explain this?
Yep.
Like, because Thranduil's going to hear about it.
Right.
And how do we absolve ourselves, like, to show that we weren't... I'm sure they're thinking about their own necks, too. Like, we did not know about this, bro. We did not know they were in our barrels. Okay?
Right.
Don't lock us up.
Yeah, and that's sort of what... right at the very end of this is that they go back there. Bilbo gets his cold. Is that right? He's getting, like, there's... he's sneezing coffee. Right. Yeah. So it says then, in meanwhile, the Wood Elves had gone back up the Forest River with their cargo, and there was great excitement in the king's palace. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'd never heard what happened to the chief of the guards and the butler. Nothing, of course, was ever said about. Wait a second. That feels like it was like last chapter. That's weird because he doesn't even have this thought. He has the thought about when he sneaks past that guard.
Yes.
As to like
he puts the keys back.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was careful. Yeah. So nothing, of course, was ever said about keys or barrels while the dwarves stayed in Laketown, and Bilbo was careful never to become invisible. Still, I dare say more was guessed than was known, though. Doubtless, Mr. Baggins remained a bit of a mystery. In any case, the king knew now the dwarves' errand and thought he did, and he said to himself, so here's what he said, "Very well, we'll see. No treasure will come back through Mirkwood without my having something to say in the matter, but I expect they will all come to a bad end and serve them right." So, yeah, I mean, he's basically, he knows what's up. That was the whole thing, too. He was questioning Thorin, wanting to know what you're about, what you're doing in my woods, etc. And now he knows. So now he can tell what they're about. And does he have a right to any of this treasure? Does he not? What's the deal? The movie makes this out to be a bigger deal. Like there's some sort of there's something up between the dwarves and the elves, right? And there's some history between them.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also kind of see, too, here that the master's like, I'll just take my cut on their way back if they do go back. And if not, whatever. It's no loss to me.
Right.
So just kind of, whereas, there is this beef between Thranduil and the elves and the dwarves, Thranduil and Thorin, and possibly some history there as well. And the master's like literally in the middle. It doesn't really matter either way for him. And the irony is we know what ends up happening to his, to his town. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right, exactly. Here's something. One more thing as we wrap this up. Just so I don't know. The way this is written, sometimes you switch out of like it's not like through Bilbo or Thor. You get this third person kind of narration that explains who the dwarves are and what the master was thinking and how it's all kind of connected, because he's thinking that, as you said, perhaps they're just frauds and they're really not who they say that they are. They're going to be discovered and they're going to be, turned out or whatever. He was wrong. Thorin, of course, was really the grandson of the king under the mountain, and there was no knowing what a dwarf will not dare or do for revenge or the recovery of his own. And it's just that extra kind of commentary or whatever on the nature of dwarves and how
dwarves.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's sick. Watch out now.
Yeah.
So,
and then they kind of get on their way, right? And it's the master's not sorry at all, and they were expensive to keep, and their arrival had turned things into a long holiday in which business was at a standstill. So bad for business. I do also love, like, a page back. Thorin looked and walked as if his kingdom was already regained and Smaug chopped up into little pieces. So they really were like rock stars walking around. Like people were pumped. They were well fed. People were curious about them, and I'm sure they were telling stories and singing songs and
yeah.
Well,
yeah, and so they're off. They're well fed now, and they've our Elven King knows what they're about. The Master knows that they're on their way. Bilbo is the only one who's really not happy. Right?
And isn't that funny? Like, at the beginning of this chapter, it's all the dwarves who are thoroughly unhappy, and at the end, Bilbo's the only one in the company who's not digging the current situation.
Yeah.
Because, he had caught that cold, man, and he wasn't feeling good, and he knows that the hardest, or he just, you're getting to we're on our way now. We're on our way. Like, we're entering our final leg in this journey, and the biggest task yet. Spiders.
This is what he was hired for, too, which is like, that's getting closer, and he's already done so much.
Exactly. Like spiders and an Elven King are one thing. You can go back to the Goblin cave, right? And in the Misty Mountains, like all these things he's done so far, and it's like that's not even the hardest part yet.
Yeah.
And really, if we don't accomplish this next task, it's all for naught. Like it doesn't really matter at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So
Wowie.
Warm welcome that turns into a cold. There you go, friends. Chapter 10. All right.
That was beautiful. That was a lot of fun. I do have an email that I like to read real quick. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
And then do a Tolkien story, right?
Yes, sir.
And then I thought, because we have new riddles in, which thank you, everyone who sent in new riddles. That's beautiful. We're not going to have to resolve to trying to stump one another. Mm-hmm. But I didn't put it in the doc, so it's not ready for, I would see the answer, and it wouldn't be fair. Well, we'd see the answer.
Oh, gotcha. Well,
I have to have Sarah do it. Well, hey, I was gonna
onion
ask
rings. Hey, here's the thing. I already gave us one.
That's
we
true.
had
I have a question, like almost like a strawberries and cream that I can ask. So
all right.
That's inspired by this chapter. Okay, so this is from Carlton. All right. Carlton says, "Hi guys, I'm Carlton from the well-named Shire town of Oakwood, Georgia. I'm also from November 2018, if you take my meaning, as I have listened to 34 episodes and I'm just about to plunge into Helm's Deep with y'all. So, wow. He's from 2018. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Like it's almost like time travel. Mm-hmm. All you guys are some 2.5 years, 60 episodes, and probably 150 hours ahead of me. I imagine things have happened and I'm behind the time. After listening to 34 episodes, at least 70 hours, I have something I've been wanting to share, and I'm not going to put it off any longer. At least 30 times now, you guys talk about starting a podcast. You talk about it, and you make up titles and say how great it would be. And I agree. I think you guys could do a great podcast that would entertain listeners far and wide. It could be a lasting contribution to fans of JRR who also enjoy you guys. I say it's time you two slow coaches. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm. I heard it.
Did you hear what he called you?
Yeah.
Well, he
and
called
you.
Me it.
And you.
2. You two slow coaches, stop talking and start producing us some podcasts. Well, I don't mean to stop talking. I mean stop just talking and take action. I listen to about 90% of a good podcast about procrastination by a doctor who studied it. I would recommend it to anyone who struggles with procrastination. I'll forward you that link, like tomorrow or whatever. Not that it solved my procrastination problem, but now I understand why I do it. I just want to send this bit of encouragement. I really think you two could make a great podcast. See you in the future, Carlton. Then he has a disclaimer. There once was a blind guy from Oakwood who sent emails best that he could. He used Apple dictation, whose interpretation of what he said often was no good. So, Carlton, I know that we haven't played the name game in a while, and you're going to see that as you progress.
Right.
But I think we'll finally take you up on your advice. We'll stop being slow coaches.
Uh-huh.
And, I think he's got a vision for us there, as.
I love it, Carlton. I'm all for this.
Yeah.
Are we talking to Carlton in the past, or is he? Where is he?
That's
right
a great.
now?
Really, kind of. I think we just spoke to him in the future.
I think we did too. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like I'm pretty sure right now you and I in the present are speaking to him in the future.
So could we?
And he just wrote us from the past.
Could we call ourselves prophets?
What is going on?
Is that sacrilegious?
Look.
Ezra was a prophet.
Darn right he was. 15th book of your holy book.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure that a narrow way, path less trodden, is a lane.
Is a lane.
Not a lane.
Wow. Okay. All right, we're getting a little full of ourselves here. All right.
Oh, wow. Okay, Mr. Prophet, swinging that around.
Slow coach.
Tell us a Tolkien story, my friend.
Yeah, so this is from
Did
Rena
I catch you
Diaz.
off guard there? Or
Yeah, you did actually. Rena Diaz here. So we went way back there in the past, and we got one that's a little bit more recent here. We're kind of diving back in. We're probably going to have we've said this before, episodes where we just go in and get caught up on these things. We're trying to sprinkle in a few older ones, a few newer ones here and there. Just as, let me tell you, the old inbox.
All right,
I love it.
Okay, and I hate to be a slow coach, but I think that last name is Dietz.
What did I say?
Diaz.
I'm sorry. Did I say that? Okay.
I can't believe you, dude. I can't believe you messed up a name. You've
did
never done that before.
Did I get the first name? You think I got the first name right?
Looks good to me, baby.
So, Rena Dietz.
The only reason I know is there's a teacher in my school who has that last name. So.
Did you?
Is this a relation?
Did you
I don't know.
Did you put that T in there after I said the?
No, I
didn't.
I didn't touch
altering
it.
the dock.
Oh.
He's in here altering the dock, Rena.
Keep your forked tongue behind your teeth.
I would never
did not-
misread a last name. I wouldn't do that.
I did not pass through spelling and language assessments to Bandia. Crooked, witless. I do them things.
Call me all sorts of names.
No, you're beautiful. I love you.
I love you too. All right, Rena, here we go. Thank you for sending this. So, hello, Lane and Ez. Not sure if you guys are still receiving these as you're starting up with The Hobbit soon. I thought I'd finally share my story, right? I'm not the greatest writer, so I apologize for my story being all over the place. Don't worry about
Suits
that.
us.
I apologize for this podcast being all over the place. No, I wasn't talking. I'm on the podcast. Cool.
Yeah, it's real nice.
All right,
I
sorry.
know
Anyways,
what that was.
Are you serious right now? What is
No,
look at
heck
this
no.
guy? All right, first I want to
That's
say
pretty good though, right?
I was actually really good.
Yeah.
You had everyone. See, that's the problem. People are like sitting here going, I can't tell if Lane and Ez actually get along or not. It's wild.
It's part of the mystery.
Rena, here we go. First, I want to say that I'm happy that I found this podcast. You guys are giving me a little piece of home combined with Lord of the Rings, and I think that's awesome. I wanted to share my story as I've been hearing you share others, and it made me feel close to all of you, and I'd love to give you the chance to get to know me as well, and we appreciate that.
Yo,
I first heard of Lord of the Rings when my brother and father decided to see The Fellowship of the Ring when it came out in 2001. I had never read the books or really knew they existed. I was 11 at the time,
Yep.
and I was so excited to see the movie because my father was talking about the story, and it sounded like such a great adventure.
This sounds so familiar.
Right? It does.
Yeah.
I loved the beginning and was really invested in the story until Isengard was shown and the orcs were being created. Really? Really?
Yeah.
I was so scared. I started crying and I hit my face in my father's lap. I had to leave the theater.
Wow.
To take a breath and to collect myself before going back in. I finished the movie and was in awe. I loved it, even with being scared by those orcs. And listen, they are scary. It is not something. I mean,
Tammy
right?
did a good job, to say the least. That might be the worst compliment, most underwhelming compliment Tammy Lane's ever gotten. Tammy Lane's a beast, okay? And everyone who worked on those orcs, they're beasts too.
They're monsters. All right.
I don't know if you can say that.
Wait. Sorry. Was that a compliment or that? I don't know. Hey, they were scary. That's what we want, right? Everyone's like, wait, are we talking about the orcs or the people who created them? Oddly enough, after that scene, I think I was prepared. I was prepared for what they look like, and it didn't bother me for the rest of the movie. Which, that makes sense.
That would be kind of jarring because you didn't really see the Uruk-hai like broadcasted anywhere.
Well,
at least I don't remember that.
Let's be honest. We saw them created, right? Like ripping out of what is a mud
a sack.
Birthing thing. I don't even know.
Placenta from the earth.
No
it was
idea.
Weird.
That was wild. And anyway, yeah. Well, more on that
killing right away. Like killing. Like
Yeah, it's scary.
Ooh.
It was not good. Saruman was not in some. I mean, that was bad. That's a low point for him. Major low.
Yeah.
All right. At 11, I wasn't much of a reader. Having dyslexia and ADHD, reading was a big challenge. After that movie, though, my reading changed. I was so obsessed with that world and the creatures Tolkien created that I took my brother's copies and read all three very poorly, and I probably missed a lot. Before The Two Towers was released, by this time, my room completely changed from a typical girl's room with stuffed animals, bright colors, and welcoming environment to all Lord of the Rings. Wow. I had posters, books, soundtracks, and anything I could get my hands on that was related to Tolkien. My friends thought I was weird. All right.
Yeah.
Flash forward 8 years, and I'm still as in love with Middle-earth as I was at 11. My mother definitely wasn't expecting to have such a nerdy daughter. I thought my parents knew that this was going to be a lifelong love because when I was 19, they gifted me a trip to New Zealand. That's awesome. I want to go to New Zealand so bad. I really cannot wait until that's possible.
Yeah.
We did a tour of both islands and discovered that my tour guide worked at Weta Workshop. Wow. While the movies were being filmed and was good friends with Shane Runge. Wow. So as a Christmas gift.
Crazy.
Wow. That's wild. We were there from Thanksgiving to Christmas. He introduced me to him. Wait. What?
Is that wild? Is that wild?
That's awesome.
Wow.
I honestly don't remember much
unreal.
of what we talked about, but I do remember how astonishingly kind he was.
Such a kind
and
man. Yep.
I was definitely starstruck. He gave me 2 signed pictures and a small action figure that I still have to this day on what my husband likes to call my Lord of the Rings shrine. Well, that makes, if you're going to be... Yeah, everyone has to have a Lord of the Rings
The
shrine.
Lord deserves a shrine, yeah.
Right.
All right.
Shane was such a great soul. He even drove my father to the airport when he was heading home. Wow.
Well, do you remember like sitting down and talking with him? Just how he made you feel? Like just you got to the point after the nervousness wore off because you realize who Shane is.
Yeah.
You're like, I feel like I could ask him anything. I could ask him anything. And it's amazing. Same thing with Tammy. Same thing when we met Billy Boyd.
Absolutely.
I went from being a kid who saw these people or their creations and was obsessed with it to feeling like, wow, what down to earth, kind, generous people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like unbelievable.
No, I'm with you. And I think that's cool. I would love to in person meet Shane and others.
Pretty cool.
So
be pretty cool.
Okay, so now to how you are giving me a little piece of home. I am from Columbus, Ohio, went to Ohio University.
There you
and
go.
My family owns property in the Hocking Hills.
Yeah, baby.
Not 2 miles from Old Man's Cave.
Yep, right
Wow.
down the road. Yep.
We would go camping and hiking almost every weekend, and when I delved into the world of Tolkien, my love of the woods and its connection to Middle-earth became so much more strong and meaningful. I could see the faces in the trees, and could feel as though I was running through the old forest.
Yep.
The Hocking Hills definitely has the old forest feel.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I would run through the woods, enjoying sword play with my brother, climbing trees, feeling like I could see the whole world. And to this day, when we go hiking, I get lost in thought of walking through Middle-earth.
Yeah.
I am 30 now and haven't been home since Thanksgiving 2018. I discovered your podcast in March of 2019, and each time I listen, you bring Ohio back to me.
Wow.
I've been living in Colorado. Yeah.
Oh, just thinking of what she did there with, like, even Treebeard, Come Back to Me. It's the song of the Entwives. Like, bringing Ohio back to me. That should be on a shirt.
In the world.
Wow, Rena. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. So I've been living in Colorado since 2014, and I don't miss the humidity or the cloudy days, but I do miss the Hocking Hills. Thank you for deciding to start this podcast and bringing me home with each listen. Thank you for all that you do, Rena. Wow,
Rena, beautiful. And how about that? You know, people, and I thought this at one time too, before I truly fell in love with Ohio. I contradicted how I now feel back then. I thought, man, anywhere in the world would be better than Ohio. Ohio sucks. That's what I used to think, you know?
Yeah.
And no other place I will ever live, God willing. Knock on some wood. Lord bless us.
Yep.
And Rena is in a place where most people in America, I think, would go, yeah, Colorado. Take me there.
Right.
Take me home. Country road. That's about West Virginia, but, Rocky Mountain High.
Sure.
And she, doesn't miss the humidity or the cloudy days, but she does miss
Hocking Hills. Yeah.
Hocking Hills.
The Shire.
The old forest and the
Shire of America.
That's right. That's right. The Shire of America. You said it, not me.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
Actually, I did.
You say it every episode.
That's awesome, Rena. I might need to see too if you're related to the deets that I know. That's not you don't hear that last name very often.
Well, you sure didn't hear it from me, so. I don't know why we're harping on this. For being honest, look, it's like Ez, you're allowed to miss. Like I could say tapestry, but I can't mispronounce the last name without.
Dude, isn't it beautiful how some things never change? It is just. I'm taking a screenshot right now of this beauty.
Hey, so, of you.
I think
yourself?
I just turned the phone off.
I was like, I don't know what you did.
Good Lord bless
your
us.
camera's off though.
Okay, well, if you're bonus content, if you're watching, here we go. Ready?
Wow.
Just act natural.
Oh, act natural. I'm acting natural. This is me.
I got it.
My name is
fine
Natural
here now.
And
I don't know if I've ever taken a screenshot while recording before.
Well, the thing is, I could take. You got the video.
Okay, Mr. Fancy Guy.
All right.
So in lieu of riddles in the dark, I was thinking we could do a strawberries with cream. All right.
Yeah.
Can we cream? Can we
Excuse me.
So I had this at the top of the dock, and I breezed over it and all that, excited fury that we opened this episode with. But what is the biggest lake you have ever been? Because we get that beautiful description of not like Bilbo says he didn't know anything not the ocean could be that, like any body of water that wasn't the ocean could be that large.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience or like a first time you saw a really huge lake, and not talking Apple Valley, where you were like, holy cow, how is this not the ocean? How is this not the ocean?
I mean, yeah, for me, being in Ohio, it just has to be Lake Erie. I mean, that's really
wasn't Dry Creek.
Are you kidding me?
Lake Erie.
Yeah, Lake Erie. I mean, I'm trying to think of like other bodies of water though that I've really large bodies of water. Yeah, it's Lake Erie. I do remember when I was a little kid going up there, and going to. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. I don't. I'm more of a Southern Ohio guy. All right.
Yeah.
What's the famous island up there? Putin-Bay, right?
Kelly's Island. Kelly's
Island. Yeah.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. So, anyways, going up there and seeing sort of who is this guy?
Jeez.
He was in Lebanon, Ohio. So this guy even live in Ohio.
What a slow coach.
what a oh man. But so anyway, going up there though, I actually to this day one of my favorite things to do. Shout out to my friends up in Cleveland, Swish and Flick. Yep. Anytime I go up to visit them, and the pandemic when everything happened, right? We couldn't go anywhere. But I found a few spots on Lake Erie that I could just go drive. Everything's shut down. I drove up there by myself, and I just stared off into. Couldn't see the other shore. Yeah, I mean they're massive.
Huge.
They're massive lakes,
and Erie is like the smallest one, I think.
Isn't
that
really?
crazy?
Yeah.
Wow. It's either the smallest or the second smallest.
Well, it's the greatest. So.
Well, it's one of the greatest lakes.
No, I said it's the greatest.
Oh, it's
lake.
the greatest.
Yeah, sorry.
It is beautiful. They've done a lot to clean that lake up, too. For a while, Cleveland was just kind of pumping.
Yeah.
I mean, the river that flowed into it caught on fire at one point.
I did hear about that, but they fixed that
Burning
all.
river.
Okay, you don't need to be like.
I just said they cleaned it up.
Can
you imagine the barrels coming down that river and entering Lake Erie from the 70s? Be like, then they could complain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe then I don't know. The fire would have come from the water. Who knows? Lake Erie's beautiful. That would probably be. Well, I mean, so Lake Michigan as a kid, because my earliest memories are of Chicago, but I don't have any like vivid memories of the lake, honestly, as odd as that might seem. I would say probably the most blown away I've been by a lake is when we go up to Canada with Sarah's family and we drive by Lake Superior.
Yeah.
And you look out over Lake Superior and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, freshwater lakes in the world. And you look out and you see blue. You just see water. And you're like, oh my gosh. And people knock the Great Lakes. People act like the only place you can get big bodies of water like that are the oceans, and that they're so different. But if you go to Lake Superior and it's a stormy day, there's freaking tides, man.
Oh yeah.
And there's waves and there's whitecaps, and I don't know, like it's not salty. Some people like salt water. I think salt water is disgusting. So like the beautiful thing about the Great Lakes is it's like an ocean, but you don't end up smelling like salt or getting salt water in your mouth. And dude, there are portions. Mackinac Island. When we go to Mackinac Island and you're up on these cliffs and you look down, it looks like Caribbean water. Like it is glacial blue.
Yeah.
And you're like, where are we? Like this looks like Jamaica or something, man.
Yeah.
Like, but you're in Michigan. It's an amazing thing though, and you can understand like why our Navy trains there. That's why they train on those big lakes. They're oceans.
Well, that's
They're
not
seas.
the only. Here's the thing. That's not the only reason that they train there. We'll say this, and then we'll close up shop here because
UFOs.
This is pretty scary. We don't know we do not know what they're hiding in the Great Lakes. We do not know what is going on there. I will not. I'm telling you right now, it's gotten so bad. I used to like swim in ponds and things like that. I used to. That's a big used to. Okay.
You're such a hobbit, dude.
Not anymore.
I don't like him either, though.
Not anymore. I don't remember if I told this story or not, but at Virginia Beach, I was attacked by dolphins when I was 9 or 10 years old.
Oh yeah, I think you did tell the story.
I think I did, and I'm telling you right now.
Weren't they protecting you from a shark?
They were protecting me from. Well, actually, I thought they were the sharks.
Right,
plural.
Right.
I'm screaming, crying, wet my pants out there in the ocean, and like everyone's just waving at the dolphins. Here I am, like thinking I'm getting ate alive, like screaming for my life. I mean, literally running, and I was nuts. So I don't know what's out there, and actually, I've thought about that day. It's almost like one of those like alien encounter things for years, where it's like, no. Those dolphins, even if they were dolphins, I sensed something. That wasn't me reacting to the fin presence. Or the there was something else there. I know it wasn't just the dolphins that was causing me to act that way as a young boy.
Here's the scariest thing, bro, is that saltwater you don't even have to necessarily worry about. So okay, Jaws, right? The reason we're all afraid to swim, the Jaws films,
sure,
are based on freshwater bull shark attacks in like the early 1900s. Bull sharks, that's what you got to watch out for, man. Bull sharks have been found in the Mississippi River.
Done.
Wait a minute. They've been found in the Ohio River.
I heard about that.
You and I could drive 2 hours from now, go swim in a river and get eaten by a bull shark. And we're in Ohio, okay? Yeah. And they are, bull sharks are ruthless. Like most sharks, they bite into you, they go, oh crap, I thought that was a seal. And then they don't eat you. Bull sharks bite into you and go, yeah, this is food. And they devour humans. They are
Lane?
I don't want to use the word monster because I just drank one. They are, and I mean it in a respectful, like nature, ruthless way. They are monsters, man. They are, like you and I could drive 2 hours from here and die of a shark attack. Not even guys, 2 hours. Stay out of the water.
Stay out of the water. Stay out of the water. Stay on the ground. You know, I mean, there's no reason to get up on ladders and go flying on planes and getting in deep bodies of water. We'll come back next week with a Shark Week for you guys. We're doing a whole special on bull sharks.
Are you mocking me because I know about bull sharks?
No, I'm saying like that's frightening
dolphins
to me. Okay. That's frightening to me, and I just don't think between the orcs. Yeah, I just.
What if we come back next week and I've got like just scleral black contacts like shark eyes and I'm just staring at you?
That'd be pretty messed up.
And then I open my mouth and I like filed my teeth down to like sharp razors.
You can't undo that.
I turned myself, and then I have like, I know you can't. It's a commitment. And then I have like horns, and I misunderstood what a bull shark actually is.
It's wild.
All right, well, as I'm going to do a quick plug for Share the Load, all right?
Yeah.
Guys, gals, uppers, young and old. Long time ago when we were first getting started, part of Share the Load was, hey, go check out Patreon. We got great content. Become a patron. I'm going to say this. We're going to, with what we're able to do through Fansided and Minute Media and some ads that we're going to be working into our podcasts and being able to monetize, just get off. Just quit Patreon. Just quit. Quit. Like, don't even do it. Just don't even join it. Don't even join Patreon.
Hey,
you know what you can do?
Yeah.
You know what you can do to help this podcast continue to grow and have more opportunities and just become a merrier gathering?
Right.
Continue to download episodes.
Right.
Continue to download episodes. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and send us your Tolkien stories.
Yes, sir.
That's as always. And continue to engage with one another. Continue to forge these friendships that are lifelong, regardless of what anyone may say. And there are some people out there, everyone knows this. You stick around long enough and some people start to, not like you so much. And that's okay. There are worm tongues in real life, and there are Sarumans and Saruwomans in real life.
Lane?
And that's okay. Hey. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And there will no matter what you do, there will always be people some people who don't like you, and that's fine. But don't ever forget. And if they say contrary to this, just let it go in one ear and out the other. Don't believe them. Don't ever forget that this podcast was formed on friendship. That the very beginning of this podcast was all about creating a more accessible Middle Earth, where two hobbits can be in awe of wizards and elven lords and ladies, and at the same time sit down and fellowship with other hobbits. And that that aspect of this podcast will never ever change, no matter what anybody
preaches, son.
Anybody says. So, what were you going to say, young man?
I better save mine because you know me. This has been the episode for where I try to pull a quick funny, and Lane takes us on this. It's so ironic. I don't even know.
I want your quick funny. Give me your quick funny.
I've already forgotten it. It had something to do with you being on your shadow facts there for a second, and it was like no, but it was actually really good, and I was like, well, yep. So
there you go.
No, honestly, and I agree with all of that. You know. Lane and I love doing this. We love getting after it in the books and just in talking about the show. And we're working our way through The Hobbit. We're going to get to the Silmarillion, and this summer is going to be great. A lot of fun, exciting things. You remember that time we told you guys to not, social media, don't worry about it. Then we came back a couple episodes and we said, hey, check it out. Here's how we're kind of handling stuff. Same thing applies here, which is like, give us an episode or two, and don't worry, guys. Like the truth is, the importance is that we want you here to enjoy the fellowship and to hang. But we're just going through some changes and some things that make it more manageable. Because, buddy, at the end of the day, I mean, what it started on is you and I went sitting down and talking about a chapter out of these amazing books. So for us to do that, we need the time to do that. Life gets busy, and so we've got to kind of simplify and streamline things to where we can do that. We're on Zoom now. We've
I know.
It's crazy. We still get together. We still got honestly, guys and gals, very exciting things happening this summer for the podcast, for Lane and I personally, for our friendship. I'm just like super excited, and there's stuff that I want to say, but I'm like, nah. We have another episode, as you don't need to extend. We're not going to 4 hours, okay? I promise. So,
well, maybe. I mean, time is just literally zooming by.
You're unreal. So is mine. My Zoom is fired up. It's literally like, actually,
my phone is about to melt down because that's how I have internet.
Literally.
No
30 minutes left on that memory card. We are lucky. I thought I had plenty of time.
I only have 387 hours, 30 minutes, and 45 seconds.
That's unreal.
You think we can? That's an insane number. That's over an hour for every single day of the year. And I've never cleared this thing off. Like, that is amazing to me. That's amazing. All right. It is, of course, if you want to send us anything in the mail, some people love like handwriting their Tolkien stories and sending them into us, and we love receiving those. Please no hate mail. Please no anthrax. I don't think I need to say that. For any worm tongues out there, don't send us like an ear or something. That would be, or a nose. We won't forget the sniffing.
Right.
Just kidding. But send it to the Shire, P.O. Box 96, Amanda, Ohio 43102. It's time for fortnight farewells. Maybe it's weekly well wishes now. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We want to thank you for chilling at the lake with us. Hopefully you didn't catch a cold. Next time, we'll be finding our threshold in Chapter 11 at the doorstep.
Oh, gosh. All right. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write that review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fortnight or a week. Who knows? And remember, Bilbo knows. Oh, that's who knows. Bilbo. Ah, jeez. Can we record that whole episode again? I messed up. Can you imagine, dude?
Wait. Lane's like, I have over 3,000 hours left on my... We have to fill this.
We could go for a year straight. No, that's dumb.
I just watched... I watched
a day
Lane's
for a year.
kids grow up behind him as he's continuing to podcast, and the babies are coming in.
White.
Like Ruth is grown and like driving. Dad, you need anything?
Dude, like my clothes start growing plants on them and stuff.